Waiting. Where are these people? They're taking a little bit longer to come over today, Dara, so we're just going to keep waiting.
We will wait.
And, well, that's Bears versus Bulls again. Okay, well, we'll start talking about these markets now.
Let's do it.
There we go. Fiddleback. Okay, Fiddleback's in the house. I don't think people are getting sent over
Bears versus Bulls
automatically.
said stream is delayed.
Stream is delayed. Okay. Yeah, okay. So production team is on it, baby. They will be... they're good on that in a second. There we go. Big Michael Lloyd in the house. BP78, Wuku, Abel Gomez, Jason. What's up, my man? Jacob. We already, Rob EV, Darwin, one of the OGs, Pitchbull, Patrick Langloy. Yes, I saw when you explained to Neil the other day how to say your name. Anurag, yes, Hamster, Noah. There we go. Okay, now everybody and their mother's fourth cousin has migrated over in the chat. So what is up to you people? In case you are just joining us, we had an epic market flush the last maybe like 20 minutes or so. Here we are on the NQ. We did find some support at 17,000, and that's where I decided to lose my mind and punch long at 17,000. And so far, we're getting a little bit of a bounce here into that 17 and a third. You know, to me, I just looked over at Dara and I'm like, this looks awfully like a dead cat bounce. You know, where we just get some perfunctory buying at these key levels. I don't know if we see a sustained move up. I think Sean's bang on. People are not really looking to buy this market at this particular moment. They're going to wait into next year, see what January starts off like. Michael Moss was giving us some quantitative data with respect to how January goes. Typically, you know, the year goes, or the first 5 days of January specifically. So market participants might be waiting to hit that buy button. If they are, well, then we'll have to do that on Tuesday. But at this particular level, Adara, 17,000 on the NQ March contract, we are finding a little bit of support right now. But look at this reversion back. I mean, this is like 1/3 of the move down. So this is nothing. I'm expecting to get stopped out on the remaining balance here on the NQ. I really don't think that we have the legs, but hey, you wet my beak on some profits, and who can complain about that?
Yeah.
After yesterday's 0 for 2, you know, move for me yesterday wasn't a good trading day, but that's neither here nor there. How are you?
I am good. Yeah, I had a very rough trading day as well, just practicing in the sim. I had one nice short on Mara, and the rest were meh. But you know what? I'm in this Tesla short. Some people asking, where are you taking profits? I'd like to take profits at this 249 area. Now, why? Because A, I like even numbers, and B, look at this. This is kind of where, and I've always talked about this when I like to take my shorts, especially because I'm a bit scalpier, we're scalpulating. I generally enjoy taking some profit at where we're breaking below the newer low, if it's a short, and the newer high if it's a long. So that would be where I take my profit. I had like literally a scintilla of shares, so few shares here. Yep.
Sorry, gotta interrupt.
Appreciate that.
Sorry. Not every day we hear the words.
Yeah. That's fair. Also, yeah, someone's saying 249 is an even number in the chat. No, it's not an even number, but I mean like a flat, like not like a decimal point is what I mean by that. You know what I mean? Also, we're out of this Tesla short. Please just punch about that. We'll have to see if it continues. I might scalp some more over here. But yeah, I am enjoying this market. We'll see. We rode that Tesla, that Cybertruck a little bit into the new year. We're gonna have to see what else the trading day brings us. Yeah, I know Sean was asking if we're Grinchish or if we're more Santa Claus rally. You know, if it's, I'll tell you, I'll go either direction. Whatever's happening. Whatever prints. I
mean, I don't care. I'm agnostic either way. But there's the move down on the future. We talked about this 17 and a quarter, 17.0 and a quarter break, and how that was likely going to be a dead cat bounce. Here we go again into 17,000. Does it hold? No, it already broke. So that's the end of my trade there. Whatever, I don't care. I already took some out over here. We'll take a 6-point loser on the last little bit on that move. But you know, we'll see if 17,000 holds. If it does hold and we make a newer high above this 17.0 and a quarter, I will definitely be interested in this trade. for continuation up, because we could do the wick dance here at 17,000. And just, you know, I hate taking longs against such weakness, such a big move down. But hey, printed on it, and so whatever. So we'll see if we can bamboozle another trade above this particular level over here. I'm going to be looking for that 17.0 and a quarter, 17.0 and a third break, and a decided break and hold. But I had a feeling this was going to tank right back down. All right, let's see what people are talking about. SNTG, people want us to look at that. 222% on SNTG, small cap gapper du jour. It goes by the name Centage or Centag Holdings. It is a financial service provider that offers comprehensive range of financial services, loan repayments, and collection management. All right, what is the deal with the float? Very small float, 1.059 million shares. It's a tiny market cap, $16 million market cap, SNTG. It trades on the NASDAQ, SNTG. Let's go ahead and look at this bad boy. 225% here. What is the look in terms of levels? We're going to have to bring in the trusty side chart and do some charting on the daily so we can know where to expect that resistance area. We're already getting a rejection off that 650. $6.44 is exactly where it rejected at. Let's look at the daily and see what is what over here. Let me remove the pivot points as they do blur out the daily. There we go. Okay, so we haven't been up here in a while. The last time we were up here was this exact level. There's an exact reason why we're rejecting at 650, and that takes us back to May 3rd. May 3rd, the high was 641. We rejected off 644. So that was to be expected if you did your due diligence and you charted on the daily on SNTG. You could set up a short there. You could have been taking profits there. In any event, you should have been cognizant of this level. Now, beyond that 650 level, we have an even bigger high that we made on May 1st. That takes us to $9 2/3. $9.63 is the high there. However, the closing print was right at that 6 1/3 area. So the wick up takes us to 9 2/3. However, the close was at 9 1/3. We're moving right back now into that 5 2/3 level. Let's see if we can reclaim 6 after rejecting 6 aggressively. Let's zoom back a little bit more and see if there are any other levels that we need to concern ourselves with that are a little bit above 6.5 but below 9 2/3. And I see this level here at 750, 760. That takes us all the way back to March 31st of 2022, Adara. So that was even before the split, the 1-to-5 split that they did back in August of last year. So be careful with this one, guys. Goes without saying, with a 1 million share float up 230%. Be careful. Obviously, it's also quite spready. Let's have a look at the tape on this bad boy here. Yeah, for a $5 name, the spread opens up to 10 penny at times, and that's you know, that gives you an idea about the volatility. But here we go, right above 6, and every time I say here we go, I really want to do the Dak Prescott thing.
Oh,
but, you know, I think people are have had it with that. Yeah, right above $6 again as we do the dance here with $6. Not able to claim it yet. But a lot of volatility, multiple halter to the upside, guys. That goes without saying. 1, 2 halts to the upside, nothing to the downside yet that I see. And the halts came in a little late, got to tell you the truth. Like, this one started its life at around 7:40 this morning, and after the bell, it stayed open. Then it started halting. The first halt, anyway, came in at 10:16, 10:15. So it took about 45 minutes for this one to trigger the volatility parameter there. Let's see what else we're doing here. Did I do well by getting out of that NQ position? Yes, I did. As now we are doing the wick dance at the 100-point level. I know. I tried to convince the Chilean Nightmare to get me like a little animation where there's like the candle wicks, the Japanese candle wicks, and they're doing the dance, right? We're gonna have to, or maybe we'll have to, you know, There he is.
I love that
I'm trying to
so
make my
much.
own animations, Katina, man. I'm trying to learn how to do that so that I can kind of like do them on the weekend and stuff and bring them in. But we'll see. We'll see about that. Oh, Chile
Oof.
Nightmare. He's like, he even said to me before, he's like, bro, it's not easy, right?
Yeah, well, no, it's hard. Like,
I know
did a
it's
little bit of
hard, yeah.
animation in undergrad as well, and
Did
it
you?
takes time. Well, because I did like way too many different things in undergrad, and yeah, it takes. We did Adobe, the animation one, and that it takes a while. Like
Yeah.
it's rewarding, but yeah, like I'm sure after a while you could get the little candle wicks to move. Yeah.
I just want to see him dance, baby. That's good. All right, yeah, we're straddling 17,000 now from the south side as opposed from the north side. To me, that is quite bearish, especially if we keep coming into 17 and rejecting off 17 to the downside. We may move down, guys, and this might be like one of those 1.5% days, possibly to the downside. 9 weeks up in a row is nothing to sneeze at. We haven't done that since 2004. It stands to reason that we do have a sell-off, to kind of end the year if that was a strength that we were going into. I don't think that that's weird at all, and I don't think it's indicative of anything other than possibly profit taking and rebalancing going into the new year, Adair.
Yes, yeah, no, it's certainly an interesting time in these here markets. I also noticed a mention of Fisker in the chat. I know Sean was in Fisker earlier as well, so I pulled this one. I said as well, I'm not in Fisker. But I mean, I'm looking at the daily here because I think my big thing is always now, like I've been learning through hearing everybody talk, like it's really good to look at these previous time frames to look for longer term support, right? Because I was looking at intraday support, but I think longer term support is also interesting. This 183 I don't dislike because that was we held up around 183 for a little bit. Even stronger if we want to go even further if Fisker gets to 225, but I would say right now, looks like we are doing a bit of a pullback here on Fisker. And I say that because we were looking really good in the morning. We had higher high, higher high, higher low. Then we took decidedly a lower low. I would say an area that could be an area of support, at least intraday, is what we do at that 167. Why? Because look at all this consolidation we had earlier in the pre-market. This is where we ran up also earlier in the day. Then after that, last year's support, I would say, would be where we opened in the pre-market, where we gapped up with this 155 area. So we're 151. So those would be kind of my areas of interest. For Fisker, I will keep that fresh in my mind. Also, Smita Patel saying here, in your education lesson, can you talk about this new IPOs? Companies sell stocks and raise money, then stock lose all in 6 months and come back in the market and sell again. For example, I guess IPOs are an idea.
They're
sure.
great. I mean, there's really not much. Look, there's not much I can say about that right now. 2023 was obviously a quiet IPO year. We started getting some newer ones. We had Kenvue, we had Affirm. We had ARM, we had what's it called, Birkenstock. We had a couple of other ones as well. Klaviyo. Yeah, thank you. We had a spin-off from, what was that one? Kellogg's.
Kellanova.
Kellanova.
Such a weird name.
Look, it's not really a technical thing. That's more of a fundamental thing, that these things are met with like a lot of exuberance and then they sell off after. It's not really anything that we can cover specifically with technical analysis, but we can talk about it more from a wider perspective. But I think that the thing right now to talk about is this absolute flushing on the market. This is what I was just saying. We started doing the wick dance from the south side of 17,000, meaning below it in the high 16.9s. And then look what happened there. You just dropped 30 points in a heartbeat. The market, it is headed south. It pays here to do a little bit of charting to find out where we could find some support. We haven't been down here, I would say, in about maybe a week or so, or maybe a couple of weeks. Let's find out exactly, Adara. All right, here is the look of the NQ chart. Let's see where we're at here in terms of support. All right, so on December 22nd, we started off our life at 16.9. And then we moved up through R1 and got into 17, almost 17.05. Wow, the market's freaking tanking here. What a miss there. Anyway, and then we ended up closing out that day just below 17,000. So let's see, where is the obvious level of support here? I really don't see any based on where we are right now. I got to tell you the truth. I think we The area we find support is 16.9. I mean, I don't see another area as obvious as this one anywhere here on the chart. Yeah, Katina, man, this thing is headed south. Yeah, 16.9 to me seems to be a reasonable support level. We've blown through all the support pivot points, okay? So pivot point on the NQ today, so S2, support level 2 was 17.025. Yeah, that's 75 points ago. So we have nothing with respect to pivot points. We're going to have to look at price action, and the area on the price chart here that stands out to me the most is 16.9. So we'll have to wait and see if we make it down there. Otherwise, I've got nothing. I've got nothing to do on the NQ. This was a trade right here to wait for the little wick dance at 17,000 to take this short. This was the move, but the market obviously has its own ideas today. All right, let's look at all the Mag 7 names. It goes without saying that they're all down and to the right. So nothing is being spared at this point. You saw Amazon with early strength. Some other names had early strength as well, the likes of NVIDIA knocking on the door again of $500, $499.97 is the high of day on NVIDIA. So yet again, we knock on the door of 500, and yet again, that door is shut in NVIDIA's face. How many times are we going to do that little pop up and reject on NVDA before we can actually claim the level on a closing basis, on a decided basis? It won't be today. At least, doesn't look like it. Maybe we get an epic rally going into the close or something. But for now, we're going to have to look for a different day to break that 500 point on NVIDIA. Tesla, a very weak day yesterday, as evidenced by this price action over here. We actually had an initial gap up on TSLA. We were up above the pivot point, which was at $261. We got all the way into R1, resistance level 1 to 265, and then that was all she freaking wrote. We tanked all the way back down into that 253 area. It was $13 worth of range yesterday, Adara, on TSLA, and I'm talking about southbound range. Oof. Yeah, it was not a good look, but in any event, Tesla weak again today, doing the little dance here at S1. And by, again, S1, the dotted red line on my chart, guys, TSLA, trying to hold above 248, can't really do it now.
Yeah, I'm always looking at Tesla. I did like that I got this little short. Obviously, I left the party a skosh early. I took off on my Cybertruck and I ran away. However, I was just trying to scalp, so no issues there. I would like to see I want to see what we do here. Do we continue to pick up, and then it's more of a long opportunity? Do we make a new high? Because it will take us a moment to make a new high here. 147.50 about. We'd have to crack that 149.50 or 249.50. Sorry. So that's about $2 for it to get to the upside to break this most recent high we had. Upside. We are going to have to see what occurs. My opinion on Tesla is we're down about 2% in the day. I would expect it to still be a short, but I do range plays anyway. So as long as the range continues to develop, I will go either direction. I am not too picky. I will hop in that Model Y and I will drive away. But also interesting, I wanted to, speaking of cars, I'll look at XPeng first, because XPeng had an interesting catalyst with regards to the expansion of its driver assistance service in 27 more cities in China. So that was of note. And look at these. I was watching this initially for a flat bottom break, even though I know it's a little bit different because we're not actually down on the day. But it was like, it was going to be some kind of bull flag situation or just a situation where we had an area of clear support that broke to the downside. We broke that support. That support was around 1460. So I think that would be, if I did get into a short, that would be probably my area of exit if we break above that 1460, right? Because that was really clear support. Support can be resistance.
What's going on? Why is your voice echoing over there?
Okay.
What do you mean, don't worry about it, bro?
Okay. Yeah, it's weird to hear yourself.
I know, right?
Way. But yeah, so lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. Thank you so much, Bears versus Bulls, for the shout out on the watch list. I really appreciate that. But yeah, so I mean, I do like the look of this. We are still up on the day, but definitely moving to the downside here on XPEV, XPeng. Marathon also, Marathon Digital Holdings, MARA, is having a marathon run to the downside over here. Some people mentioning Mara long in the chat, some people mentioning Mara short. This so I guess the Scotia support around the 24 area is not a bad look, but we've fallen $5 in this one. We are down 13% on the day. I would right now would look at it as a short unless it tells me otherwise. You know what I mean? Because look at this. Lower, all I have to say is lower. It's not even lower highs, lower lows. It's just low. We're just low on Mara. Unless we make a higher high of that 25.30, then we're to the downside.
What did Mara say to you?
Mara said to me, it's not a short.
Like, you saw, unless it tells me otherwise.
Oh,
right?
yeah, that's
so come
very good. I
on.
understand. Well, right now, Mara is telling me that it's a short. Thank you for asking. You know,
no problem.
She only talks to me sometimes, I guess. So
okay.
there we go. She's a little
You're the
particular.
plug then. If you want to talk to Mara, you're the plug. All right, guys. We are brought to you by Search Trader. Account funding of up to $1 million. Keep up to 90% of profit. Enjoy relaxed trading rules with an 8% max trailing drawdown on all new accounts. Shout out to the folks there at Search Trader, who, by the way, have now extended their trading contest into the month of January. Same deal, $1,000 cash with 100,000 fake dollars. If you win, you take the pot there. So make sure to give them a look. All right, NVIDIA, I just happened to look at NVDA here. I was looking at that 490 area. That 490 area means absolutely nothing. The whole dollar areas are really not acting as any level of support right now on the Mag 7 names. Everything blowing to the downside. Google below 139. Apple knocking on the door of 192. We just broke through 250. No problem on Tesla. We're coming into that 350 area hot on Meta as well. And we just broke below 375 as well on Softy. So there does not seem to be a floor for this move down. I was just thinking right now to punch short on the future on this move back up. And, you know, I talked myself out of it, feeling maybe that move was extended. It doesn't look like it's extended. I just finished telling myself we have some support at 14.9. So I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. We're gonna take this short 4 move down into 16.9. Let's see if we can get that move on the NQ. Not good for the long-term account, obviously, but let's see if we get that move down. Where are we short here? Let's find out. 52s. Okay, so let's see. Let's set up at 45s over here to cover and see what we get from there. Apple, like I said, knocking the door of 192. What's everybody doing? Are you guys holding cash right now? Are you staying on the sidelines? Are you punching short? What is everybody doing? What's your look? Kim says SNTG Adara. SNTG now up 322%. This one just continues to rocket up to the high side possible. $8 incoming. Now it's blown through that $6.50 level that we talked about as a possible resistance level on the daily. We need to chart a little bit higher now if we're going to get anything. This one poised here possibly to touch $8, but we're going to have to wait and see. It's a 1 million share float, guys. So be very careful with this when you can get blown out super quick and it's spready at times. Like right now, it's not, well, right now it's just 15 pennies. It changes from like half a second to the next half second. The spread tightens up to 2 pennies, opens up to 12, you name it, it's doing it. Let's see what we're doing here on the future. Yes, we get that beak wetter on the way back down on the future, but this is not what we're looking for. We're looking for a bigger move into 16.9, whether we get that or not. We're going to have to wait and see, but this is definitely the trend. The trend is definitely to the downside of there.
Yeah, indeed it is to the downside. I'm still looking longingly at XPeng, wondering if I want to hop into this here vehicle. Also, that reminds me, you should look at NEO, aka the maker of my beloved ET9. I'm joking, it's not my ET9, but I like the look of ET9. Oh, NEO drove off a cliff, quite literally. Like, look at this. We had this nice little calm consolidation at opening, or pre-market, sorry. Then we opened and we took 944 and swooped definitively to the downside. We're below 9 now. We're at about 898. Yeah, it's very much, James Moffitt saying been short since 10:30. Probably not a bad move there, I have to say, James Moffitt. Makes sense.
Good for him.
The market, yeah, I mean, good for you. Like the market is definitely on your side on that one. Let's look at Coinbase, because there was that news that Aunt Kathy was selling more Coinbase shares. That was as of yesterday, but yeah, Coinbase, oh, okay. Buy Coinbase.
Coinbase, yeah, wow.
Is Coinbase, I mean, I was
Well,
going to say, is
it's up
Coinbase
a
a short, but it's
rocket.
clearly a short, pardon?
It's been a rocket lately.
Yeah,
So a
right.
little healthy pullback's all right. It's
That's
no
true.
big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? But I mean, I have to say, I do like the look of these just for points of entry, right? Because I do think it looks like it's still a short. As long as we see continue to see lower highs, lower lows, I would probably get, what's the opposite of a dip when you're in the short? You know how in your longs you're like, oh, dip buy? Is there an opposite of that for shorts? Is it a rip buy? Do you know what I mean?
Okay, so a dip. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
is it a
you're
rip
waiting
buy?
for a resistance rejection.
Okay,
Is that
that's
what
it,
you
yeah,
mean?
so better, yeah.
I don't know if there's a word for it. Maybe there's
I was
a
thinking
cooler
rip buy,
word,
but that doesn't really work.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, if anyone has a word in the chat, that's the opposite of a dip buy for a short, if you know what I mean. So buy. I like the resistance. That makes sense too. Resistance retest. Yeah. It still rolls off the tongue. I like it. But yeah, so I am enjoying how this one is going. Tesla is doing a bit of a dance here at this 247.50, 248.50 area. I want to say barcoding, but we're doing, like, these candles are pretty much the same length both directions as of right now. I think this is definitely a point of decision for Tesla if it decides what it would like to be when it grows up. People are saying fade the pops, short the pops. Okay, that's true. That's a good point there,
Short
too.
the pops. Yes, that's
go.
the one. Yeah, I should have known that. Just concentrating on this trade, so I'm not really there with you at the moment.
I understand. Yeah, how is the trade going?
It's good. Well, we'll see. We'll, at that 50-point level, so there's always going to be a little bit of a dance there. But I'll send it back to you for now while it's set up.
Absolutely. Yeah. So John Del Segno saying spike. I like what people are saying here. Someone repeating rip buy. Appreciate that. Rip buy is perfect, says Michael Mulvey. Thank you. But yeah, so I mean, I don't know why this is still on my side chart, but I need to switch up my side charts apparently. Warner Brothers Discovery is still here. And this one looks like it is continuing to discover the short side of life. We're down about 2.65% on the day. Volume not bad, about 5 million. Pretty much, like, we'll have to see what we do with this bottom here, because much like Tesla, I'm seeing a little bit of chop and churn. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens here. Also, Picky Eater saying, buy the dip, short the spike. I kind of like that. I kind of like that, honestly. Thank you, Picky Eater here. Yeah, so I mean, we'll have to see what Warner Brothers Discovery does. This is still on my side chart because we had this one with Paramount and all of those merger chit chats here. You know what? Maybe I'm going to go down a rabbit hole and look at some of these media names, because Disney, I think, is almost always interesting to look at. Oh, also, though, Warner Brothers Discovery had what I would think would be kind of a positive catalyst, but I guess the whole market's flushing. Warner Brothers Discovery, this is per Benzinga this morning. Warner Brothers Discovery expanding global streaming empire with strategic acquisition of Turkey's Blue TV.
All right, so almost out of this entire position now on the future as we now break down below 16,940, but we're still doing the little dance here at 50, so that's why I just felt it was more appropriate to de-risk, because it's an extended move, guys. Like, this is not a small move here. So yeah, I just wanted to de-risk a little bit there. Let's see what some of the tags were there. Sorry, I wasn't trying to ignore you guys, but I was trying to concentrate. Eric Lenerville, cash waiting for reversal. Okay, so Eric's waiting for the eventual pop here on the future, thinking that, we're extended to the downside, and I don't disagree with you. Tesla major support, Eric says again, okay. Comp SRX1, what might one say regarding okay, you already answered that. Y Brothers United, Sharif, be careful shorting at this level, please. You're not wrong. We are extended to the downside. So thank you for your advice. It is quite sound. Ed Nuts, I'm feeling a bit sore today. 77 touches in the box, 30 shots on target, and no goals. West Ham took 2 shots and scored twice. Dude, don't get me started. I didn't actually watch the game because I've got my sister and my niece and nephew over at my place. So I've been having to kind of go out with them, hang out and stuff like that. And I didn't get to watch the game, but I get all the notifications on my phone. And that was a piss poor performance, especially since we had been basically dominating at the Emirates all of 2023. And then we're going to end the final the final game in the year with that kind of a piss poor performance. Very disappointed in Arsenal. But hey, I mean, it's just the way it is. We're still in second place, 2 points behind Liverpool. So Tottenham lost, Villa lost, City won though. So, you know, it's just so hard this year because there's so many people in the race. You can't trip up. If you make a mistake, there's going to be that team behind you that doesn't. They're going to catch up. So disappointed, but we'll have to wait and see what we get the rest of the year with, or the rest of next year. D-Loaf says short the chips, long Palantir, it holding this anchored VWAP from summer highs at $20 smaller charge. I'm not sure what that means. Charge? Charge? I don't know what that means. In 1712, breakout 17. Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Crockett says Manchester United are coming. I don't know, man. You guys had one good game. Don't get too excited. Let's see what else. Palantir jump up, says John H. We'll have a look at PLTR in a second for you. I know the Katina man was on that one today. We'll have a look and see what Palantir is doing. But the future's headed back down again. Ooh. What I want is a break of the third, right? So let's go and hang out here at 35, Zadara. We're going to set that up at 35s and a quarter. Because what is life without whimsy, right? Let's go all the way back down to 38s here. But we're definitely finding some support. The selling is getting a little extended as, you know, buyers are stepping in at points here. But we're still incrementally moving down, just not with the same vigor that we were earlier, okay? Let's have a look at PLTR though.
Yeah.
All right, let's pull that. Which one are we gonna remove here? CGA. PLTR, what do we got? Palantir tanked nicely off the open, much like the overall market, finding support at 1710, and we're in that 1720 area. Bit of a double bottom here on the 5-minute look. Both of the 1710 touches bounced off with the second bounce breaking the high of the previous one. First target, if you're long, VWAP 1735 is what I'd say, and then you're looking for the pre-market consolidation low. Excuse me, just a smidge below 17.5. I'd say get it in the 17 mid to high 40s if you're looking for a beak wetter on that. But not a bad look on PLTR, but not one that, you know, I'm really going to be involved with today. We'll have a look at some other stuff. D-Loaf says share ig. My bad, I don't know how to spell the slang you use. Oh, shareage. Shareage, my man. Share, yeah, okay, I get it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying. I always say shareage, like picking up shares.
Yeah.
Picking up shareage, yeah. So I got you, D-Loaf. Okay, just had to explain that one. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be in this NQ long here, as we are finding some support a little bit. We already took out 3 out of the 5, so, you know, I don't really want this to go against me. Already positive on it. Let's see. We're getting back up into that 52 into my entry again. The thing is, though, Adara, why I'm hesitant to take this position out is because, you know, when I talk about the wick dance, when you are below a key level and you're coming up to it from below, but every time you come into it, you reject and move back down, you're not clearing it and then coming back to it and bouncing off it. There's a difference in my view.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Right? And that's exactly what we got here with 17 when we were bouncing off 17, went to the high side, and you got a nice move up. But then when we broke 17, sorry, not 17, 17, when you broke 17, you started bouncing into 17 from the downside to the upside, and then you got the big move down. So that's what we're doing here with 17 and 17050. But yeah, I'm trying to pack my patience here with this. I'm just really unsure about how this is all going to manifest, and as a result, my eyes are tattooed to the screen. Jelly Bean Donut says Mara 25 break.
Yeah, let's look at that. I know, yeah, I was seeing as well. I had Mara pulled up. Louis Totoro as well saying, remember what Adara said, 25.34 Mara break to the upside.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think because what I noticed was basically, I just said it'd be interesting to see what we do with the Scotia support we had at 24. And it looks like what we did with that Scotia support went higher. But you know what I'd like to see is a break above that that area that was kind of identified by people in the chat, that 25.34, because that would be a higher high. And that's what I need, because right now, if you really want to look at it, we did have a bit of support, but we're still longer term seeing lower highs. That being said, yeah, if Mara breaks above 20, like decisively above that 25.35 area, and when I say 25, I mean like 25.35, then I think that would be a really interesting look. Because I mean, like, this one very much down in the day. One could argue the selling today is a bit overextended. One could argue there's a potential for a dip buy. I'm saying one could argue because, you know, I don't want to make any assumptions until we see what the market tells us, right? So I'd like to wait and see here. Tom H saying buy in Riot Mara. So let's look at Riot because I've looked at Coin, looked at Mara. Mara's not, like I said, she's kind of confused about what she's telling me right now. She's trying to speak to me, but Riot has not spoken to me yet today, or I haven't looked at Riot because I've been neglecting Riot. Riot actually looks really similar to Mara. Because look at this, we had that big move to the downside. Then we had what looked like was going to be a bit of a recovery to the upside after a really, you know, a pretty noticeable support area. But we have not made a higher high. So both Mara and Riot need to prove to me that they can make a higher high. That would be my take there. Do not dislike the look of this though. I just think in order for it to be really that kind of V-shaped retracement to the upside, I think it like
need higher highs.
Yeah, exactly. So I think like Riot is not necessarily not poised to do that, but right now it's not doing it currently. James Dell saying Mara is up 623% on the year. Yes, it is. And Coin is up. It has the second largest gains of tech companies above 5 billion market cap. So second only to Affirm. Let's look at Affirm actually. I know Neil looks at this one a lot, Affirm here.
What a good stock that's been this year.
Yeah.
401% to the high side.
Yeah, I mean right now it's definitely, it's a little baby. It's a bit of a short move. We're seeing these kind of maybe opportunities for rip shorts or short the buy the dip, short the rip, short the pop, what have you. But we're gonna have to wait and see here. Like I said, I don't like getting involved in shorts near low of day. I don't like getting involved in longs near high of day, just because I like to kind of have all my ducks in a row for that point. But yeah, so I mean, not a bad look here in terms of a potential short on Affirm. But yeah, much like everything else, we just fell fully to the downside with a vengeance. Speaking of falling to the downside with a vengeance, how goes the NQ short?
We're still doing the dance at 16,950. You know what I just thought? This ducks in a row expression is kind of similar to dead cat bounce. Because if you think about it, you put your ducks in a row, so you can pick them off one by one. I mean, like, it's just, okay. A lot of graphics there. And the dead cat bounce, too. I mean, you know, these are antiquated expressions, maybe?
Antiquated,
there
word
we
of
go.
the day.
Okay, yeah.
That's a word.
Yeah, Adara, we keep coming into this 50-point area, and I'm not really sure what to make of it. We're getting a little bit more support here. It's just, you know, you're gonna find, you know, this temporary buying on a move down. It doesn't go down in a straight line. It's just how much room do you give it? And now we are claiming the 50-point level from the high side. I just don't really want to stay in this trade if I don't have to, but yeah, well, there we go. Now some strength coming in. Trying to keep my eye here on the Mag 7 names to see what they're up to as well. If they start pumping to the high side, then I should probably take that as you know, a little bit of a heads up and get out of this position and rethink it. But we're about like a point out of the money or so at the moment. Let's see if we make a move back down. We almost broke below that 35-point area, which is where I have my beak wetter. I think it pays probably just to get out of this trade because, yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of it, to be honest with you. A little unsure at this point. Typically, you know, I'm not this unsure, but on a day like this, I just don't know what to make because the market's not really acting rationally. It's responding to the kind of the context which we're in the last trading day, up 9 weeks, and you got to give a little bit back. That's kind of how I feel. I don't think that this is driven by any catalyst or anything like that, where you could say, okay, this makes sense. You know, we're moving down. It's a negative day. But yeah, so, and Apple just bounced off 192. So if Apple holds 192 here and starts curling, I don't know. I don't like this short. That's it. That's the end of the short for me. We'll give back a little bit there on a couple of contracts. I had 2 left on that boy, but still positive on it. So please just punch. But, you know.
There we go.
Yeah. We'll see what we get here. Softy bouncing up nicely as well. I was kind of singing the praises of Apple, but it's Softy here putting in the best bounce. Now $1 off the lows, 373.5. Now we're knocking the 75 cents all off the low. Now we're 374 and a third. So a nice move there, but I possibly dead cat bounces here. I'm just unsure. And if I'm unsure, there's no point putting on risk. Let's see what else is moving here. Everything red on my charts, save and except for yields. The 10-year up, the 2-year up. Oil finding some support, 1/3% after tanking yesterday. Oil was awfully weak yesterday, especially into the later part of the day. Let's look at the CL contract. Take off Palantir. Here's the move on oil, the future, and I'm looking at the January contract, guys. $73. This was the big move down yesterday, preceded by the move down the day prior, and now we're kind of stagnating here. A little bit of sideways action, just a smidge above that 72 area, but a little bit above 72, a little bit below 72. Very consolidative on the day.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly, a really interesting look for all of these stocks we got going on over here. I'm looking at Tesla because Tesla's looking, I'm liking kind of this skosh of consolidation I'm seeing at 247, 248. I've been shorting way too much lately. I think I've been a skosh short bias, so I'm trying to be keeping myself open to what the charts are telling me, let them speak to me, and instead of me assuming what they want to say.
Yep.
So I think, I did have a nice little BOVESPA moment earlier with the short. But I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what we do here. Like I said earlier, I would kind of like to see a higher high before I feel confident in this being a long. Because it looks like we have broken out of that range of that 247.50, 248.50 we were seeing earlier. Now we're kind of breaking out of that with a bit of a vengeance. So we're going to have to see what the look is.
Noah, great question. Investing question. I became an active investor and day swing trader this summer. When is the best season to buy stonks for long-term portfolios? I bought some things too high. So, never financial advice, but here's what I personally did. I chose the names that I liked, and I dollar cost averaged to them, depending on the stock, obviously. Apple, I was DCAing at about every $10, and that's worked out well for me. But what I do like is the seasonality component in investing. Go back and look at the last 4 years before the pandemic, and as well as during and then after. Fall, late summer seem to be times when the market sells off. It's not always the same time every year, but there seems to be that seasonality. Late summer, mid to early fall, we tank a little bit. And so if there are names that you like, that for me is a good time to get in. I got in late summer. I bought initially at the highs, not the all-time highs. Obviously, I started getting into Apple in the mid to low 180s. DCA'd again every $10. Sell to that and gave me a good cost basis on that bad boy. I personally like late summer, early fall. Obviously, that comes around once every 12 months. So, the best thing to do is to get in on dips if you like the name long term. Obviously, you really need to know the market conditions too. Like, keep your eye on what the Fed is doing, what rates are doing, the yields especially, because them and equities typically move in the inverse. I personally like that time of year, but you may feel differently about that. But go and have a look at the charts is what I'd say to you, and look for seasonality in some of the Mag 7 names or whatever you want to invest in. Don Vogon, how does DCA work? Dollar cost averaging. Well, dollar cost averaging essentially, is the premise that you're never going to be good enough to be able to time the tops and the bottoms. So if you like a name and the name is fundamentally sound, it's not just a technical trade, you get in at different levels. So you don't put your 100% position on the initial buy. What you're looking for is, you get in a third, say, at a particular level. If it breaks a particular level, and then if it declines, say, a certain percentage or certain amount, something that you've already decided ahead of time, then you add, like, say, another 10%, 15%, whatever your strategy is going to be. Everybody DCA is a little bit different. The point is to try to get the best price you can using dollar cost averaging for the strongest names, okay? That is really the point here, because you can't be arrogant enough, or you shouldn't be arrogant enough to think that you're going to be able to top the tops and the bottoms, like, exactly. And so that's the whole point of DCA.
Yeah.
What is everybody else up to? I asked that question last time. Says Andrew Salazar. Okay. All right. Thank you. I have witnessed the fall being better time and got into the big 7 around then. Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, that's personally what I see is the best time. This October-ish, September-ish time. I mean, every year it's a little bit different with respect to the specific time, but usually it is around that time of year.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get out of this Microsoft short that went against me. I noticed we're having a little bit of consolidation. It's not consolidation, but I guess we had a little bit of support here around this, or I guess resistance around this 374.20 area. So got to run 374.15. Then I was like, I kind of set up more, I guess about like 20, 30 cents for the out there, just because I don't like staying in positions too long. And usually for something like this, I would do as if it makes a higher high. But the thing is, the next higher high was $2 up from there. I guess a dollar plus up from where we were. So I was like, I don't really want to do that. My profit taker would have been at this 373.60 area, because that would have been where we would be making a lower low, but we never got there, so I did not do that. Yeah, so just looking at everybody in the chat. If there's anything you want us to look at, please let me know. Thank you to Brandon in the chat. I love hearing y'all all day at work. I'm learning my way into swing trading, and although y'all are day trading, there is so much information y'all are putting out there that helps me. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. We're happy to help. We're just trading and, you know, all exploring the markets and learning together. So beautiful times. I think I saw some mentions of Lee Auto in the chat earlier, I believe. I think it was Renata mentioning Lee Auto. So let's look at Lee. Lee's an interesting one. I think earlier, we're still up on the day, which is striking given what a lot of these non-small cap names are doing right now. But yeah, look at Lee. Like, we have like these higher high. Earlier we were having higher lows, higher highs. Then around 10:30, that was kind of the highest high we made. We went lower here to this 37.26 area, so that was just slightly lower. Then we had a little bit of chop and churn here earlier at 37.30, and then we've made a lower high. So I think it looks like we're moving down a little bit on Lee, but again, still much stronger than the rest of the market. And this failed selling here to the downside on this candle is of interest to me, this current candle we're in. So maybe Lee doesn't want to stick to the downside. We are up on the day, so it's definitely worth looking at here. Caleb English saying, isn't buying the dip the same thing as timing the bottom? You're just timing a bottom on a smaller time frame. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think I would also probably want you to like Sherry for other people's opinions on this, but yeah, I think from my understanding, yeah, I guess it's like you're wanting to buy, I guess, where you're seeing some consolidation, where you're seeing a bit of a lower price action. To me, that makes sense. Definitely an interesting look here.
Let's see the fuge. You know, please this punch for getting out of that, because look at the fuge headed up here. But look, let's not celebrate here. I mean, we're not on a bull run or anything, but what I would say is keep your eye on 17,000 if you are really short inclined, because look, we had a bit of a stop here at 17,000, and we got that bounce back up, and then the Huadunk ended up manifesting. And then once we broke below 17, we started doing the little wick dance from below 17, and then we ended up rejecting. So if we make our way up into 17,000, and we're only about 20 points away from that at the moment, I'm not saying it's short, but keep your eye on a possible rejection of 17,000 to the downside, guys, because we are moving up here on the future. Let's see what the Mag 7 names are doing. So Softy looks upwardly bound at the moment, so does NVIDIA. All of them really curling up here, but I'm trying to discern which one is the strongest of the bunch in terms of curling up. Well, NVIDIA bounced off 487.5, now knocking the door of 491, so that's a nice several dollar move. There looks like the Amazon, oh my God, I'm distinctly different.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Oh boy. I love him. Where is he? Yeah, he's been killing it today. Look at Tina Man's giggling too. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. We need the oh boy button. Yeah. He needs a couple of animations. He needs confluence. He needs distinctly different.
Google.
Google. Yeah, he needs a few. Yeah, he's good with that. I appreciate the Kenobi. Always making us chuckle and stuff. Why no long positions, Brad Proc? Well, have you seen the move down? You must be one tough-hearted soul, my man, because punching long right now is it's a little risky. It's a little risky. We'll have a look. I mean, if we break 17,000 and you know we don't reject off it, then it might be a very interesting long at that point. But right now, we're still below 17. We'll see what we do here. I kind of feel this is a little bit of a, and if you were telling me about the arm position, how was that going?
That's fine.
It's still, the Katina man is doing the dance here with arm. He's taking it long. He's trying.
74.
He got 74.50 level.
Long at 75.
He's long at 75. He's long at 75. The Katina man is long ARM at 75, so he's about 20 pennies in the money or so. Let's see if that one can run back up, down 3%, but it's been an absolute rocket ship as of late, well over the IPO price, well over. And, you know, I'm not talking for anybody else, just in my recent memory, it's one of those, at least in 2022, 2023, it's one of those ones that actually went above the IPO price. Obviously, you go back into 2021 and the likes of Coinbase and Rivian and all these other names, obviously, like tripled above their IPO price, but we haven't seen that kind of action lately. So I'd like to see it on ARM, and I think it's fundamentally sound. It is a good company, and there's a lot of other companies that want to use its technology, so it's licensing it, and that's fantastic margins there. Noah, $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, Noah, for your kindness. Thank you for doing the How to Trade show and teaching us, this English teacher, how to be a profitable part-time trader. God bless y'all from Houston. Have a prosperous new year, irregardless of the market. And he put it in caps. Bravo.
That's
Bravo.
A very sweet and very funny and all around entertaining
it.
super chat. We always appreciate the love. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And make sure we start an entirely new How to Trade segment next week. What we will be talking about, how to find stocks to trade. We're going to be talking about scanners. We're going to be talking about watch lists. We're going to be talking about all the different utensils, the news catalyst blotter that we use, everything that Adair and I and the Katina man and the Neil use on a daily basis to kind of figure out where, you know, where should I be looking, what's popping off on the day. We're going to be talking about that next week. And I know a lot of people have been asking for that. They really want to know, you know, where to find these stocks, especially the newer traders. More the established traders kind of have their own methodology. About that's what we're going to be talking about next week. So make sure to join Adair and I on Tuesday as we start off a new year, and hopefully a fantastic new year, Adair.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah, and I think I'm really excited about the watch list as well, because I do the watch list that we send out every morning, right? Everybody's going to have their own watch list. Sean has a sticky note.
Oh, yeah.
I think Obi also does a sticky note. So, you know, people have different, and Neil has his morning mix. Like, the point I'm trying to make is everybody has their own form of watch list. And you're sure if you have all your charts, right? So everybody's going to have their own watch list. But either way, it's like, that's kind of the beauty of it, is you can come up with something that's tailored to you. And how you learn how to do that is by finding a way to cull through the herd of all these massive amounts of stocks, and, you know, picking like, this is the one I want. This is the one I'm looking at. You know what I mean? So I'm really excited to chat with everybody about the watch list. I also want to take a look at NEO. I saw some mentions of NEO in the chat here. So NEO is interesting. NEO's doing what a lot of these names are kind of doing right now, and it's like at kind of this big decisive point. Because I think NEO, much like these other names, much like what Mara was doing earlier, I need to see a higher high in order for me to know that this is actually reversing, because we are down about 4% on the day. Also, what makes me a skosh nervous with regards to a long case for NEO is look at these failed wicks to the upside.
Why is NEO tanking like this? And Lee and XPEV are all both up.
That's XPEV
really
has
weird.
a specific catalyst. I know that with them, it's driver assistant, so I know that's why that's up. Lee, I could not find. NEO, not seeing anything. It might have been, yesterday it was strong, so it might have been like a pullback.
And it's not like a few amount of shares there. It's the 43 million shares. Okay, a couple of, a super chat here to get Jesse. Oh my goodness, 1999 super chat. Thank you very much, my friend. God bless you. SPY puts printed for me. I'm out for today with $5,000 in profit. God bless you guys. You get a special spin the money. Shout out to you, Jesse. The more you print, the more we're happy, my man, because we're not here for ourselves. We're here for you guys. And anytime that we can add value, I think we're very happy there. Because right now, I'm pleased as punch that you got out, because we are curling up here on the future. Not aggressively, but we are stair-stepping our way up possibly into 17,000 as we get into that 16.9 low 8s at the moment. So keep your eye on the future. Picky Eater, Hope the option trading section will be coming soon. My man, I gotta tell you, it ain't gonna be me teaching options. I don't know anything about options, and I'm not gonna teach anything that's outside my wheelhouse. So if we're gonna do an options week, it's not gonna be me. We're gonna have to bring a guest on to teach you that. Hopefully we will do something like that, but we will have algos for you in the new year. We'll be having many different guests of all kinds, futures traders, more futures traders coming.
Yeah.
That will be gracing us with their presence and giving us very good insight. Nick, Dub, Sharif, can you look at ACI, which is Albertsons? I feel like it could make a big move up in here in the coming weeks with earnings similar to Costco. My man, I am well versed in Albertsons because the stock father, shout out to Mark Roberts, a former guest on the show, did suggest 3 stocks in November 2021 for inflation. They were as follows: Costco, Walmart, and Albertsons. I made money on all 3, and I'm always going to shout out Mark Roberts for that. And Albertsons was one of those ones I made money on, so let's have a look at Albertsons. Here is the look. So obviously you can see the highs here in November. This is what I was talking about with the Mark Roberts call in and around there, and this was a great move at that time. A bit of a double top here on Albertsons at 38 bucks, and it's been down and to the right since that time. We did base out though with an obvious area of support at 20 bucks, and that $20 support, Adara, has held up for over a year. November 2022 was when we made the big quadunk from that 32 down into that 20 area, and 20 has held not every single time. Like you can see, there's a 19 print here back in March, but for all intents and purposes, $20 is support. Now, what do we see on a more recent basis? So this is the 1-year look here on ACI, and let's go ahead and put the ticker. Because what I see here, Adair, are higher lows and higher highs. Not by much, right? Which is not really what I'm trying to say. Look at this. So you got a higher low, higher low, higher low, and you're getting the higher highs.
Indeed.
But you need this $23 flat top that we've been dealing with for a little bit of time here to break above this $24 flat top. So not much in the way of range, but I do like it. I think it is a nice look. Let's see when this one is reporting, because you said the earnings was coming soon. So I'm going to load up Trade Idea, shout out to the NOS boss and his boys, and we're going to find out exactly when ACI reports in the new year. Let's go ahead and pull up this bad boy. Give me one moment, please, as it loads up. There we go. All right. So ACI, Albertsons, they do report. Earnings date, January 9th, very soon. Thank you for that. So that is next month, not this Monday coming up. That's the 3rd. The subsequent Monday after that, it will report short float, negligible, 5.4%. Yeah, that's not really kind of relevant data for a company like Albertsons. I mean, fundamentally, I haven't looked into the company in quite some time because I haven't been invested in it, but you know, technically, it's a good look here with higher highs and higher lows. It holds that $20 support level, and you're getting that incremental move up. So I do like it from a technical sense.
Yeah.
Alex Davis, alrighty. Have to try and go get some gains to try and look. Okay, come on, bro. You probably look 100 times better than me, but do you? If you, you know, like, look, I've been in the gym for like 22 years, and every year, there's a huge influx of people in January who are no longer around in February. Don't be one of those people. Be that person that shows up in March. That's all I'll say to that, okay?
Saying of the week, yeah.
Be that person who still shows up in March.
Make those gains.
There you go, baby. All right, what are you looking over there, Adair?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna like really shock you. There's gonna be a plot twist that I'm looking at Tesla. I know that's like the big shock of the day. No, I'm joking. But I'm not joking about looking at Tesla. I am looking at Tesla. I'm trying to scalpulate here. I'm looking for a point of entry because I think what we do here at 249.50 is going to be incredibly pivotal. 249.50 is where it's kind of where I got in the short, but that's not why it's important. It's important because this is where we had that big fall to the downside, right? Not the initial fall, mind you, but that second big swoop to the downside. So I think that is a really interesting area. It looks like we're consolidating a bit here. We got up to about 249.75 and then fell back down to 249.50. So I want to see what we do here will make the difference if we get in a long or a short. Either way, I would like to be stepping into this Model Y. So I just need a reason as to why and in what direction there. Also, Kim in the chat asking, what was the catalyst for this huge move down in crypto stocks? I will tell you, I was looking into this a little bit earlier. Sharif was also looking into this as well. But with crypto, we did have the miners.
Yeah.
It was, I believe,
Here
I'm
it
going
is,
to pull
right
this.
there. I got it.
Thank you.
It's right here. Bitcoin miners, Adara, offload 129 milli in Bitcoin in one day, sending reserves to their lowest point in May. Miners include the likes of Riot, Mara, CLSK. I forget the name of CLSK. CLSK is called CleanSpark.
Oh yeah,
CleanSpark. Yeah. So the reason why I like this whole clean mix with crypto is because they use a lot of non-clean energy initially to mine. It's very energy demanding, and so there was this big push to either find areas with really cheap energy. So a lot of them were going to China because they use a lot of coal plants there. A lot of people have moved to Texas because energy is a lot cheaper in Texas, whereas it's more expensive in California.
Yeah.
So there's been this like move to find, number one, cheap energy, or number two, if you really want to kind of get a certain ESG crowd on your favor, to find clean energy to mine with. And so there's been like that kind of push. That's why we hear a lot of energy related stuff with crypto.
That's interesting. Yeah, no, and I remember reading about that a while back with regards to Mara, when it was kind of getting some new, because it did get some new mining operation facilities, and that was a big theme for Mara this year. I did read a little bit about that, so I appreciate you going over that. I want to learn more about Bitcoin mining, because it's a really Bitcoin mining, not Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin
People
mining,
do it in their condos. You know that, right?
Yeah, no, it's a really interesting thing that I don't know enough about.
Katina Man does it in his garage. Did. Yeah. The Chilean Nightmare knows all about crypto. He's all in that life.
No, I was talking to Fabian about crypto earlier today, and it was like, I do not know what I'm talking about as much. But yeah, no, Fabian knows his crypto.
Oh, yeah.
Also, I want to look at AMD here, not at all related to crypto, but I think Susana Pena mentioning AMD in the chat, some other people mentioning AMD in the chat. So let's mention AMD. Look at this one. So AMD, sort of a double top here. Right after open, we made the first top of this 150.70 area, 940. Then we made the second top around 150.73. So more or less the same area. One thing I really like that we talked about when we were doing double tops and double bottoms is that you said they don't have to be exactly the top or bottom, the exact same, as long as there's like, some closeness. I mean, these clearly are pretty much more or less about a double top here.
Yes, ma'am.
More or less. Then we careened.
Is that the 5 or the 3?
This is the 5.
Yeah, that's a good look. That's a real good look.
Thank you. Yeah, because I know the 3 minutes is a little bit of a shorter time period. So yeah, we careened to the downside, made a lower low, made a little bit of a lower high, lower low. Now we've seen a higher high. So is AMD doing a reversal? I'm going to have to wait for a little bit more confirmation there. I would like to see, we are above this 9 EMA, so I like that. But what I would like more is if we see a higher high, or if we, because I think that would be more confirmation for me that it's a long, and then I could jump in there, go in with these chip names over here. Another chip name of interest that I think is a bit more decisive at this point than AMD is look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is like the little engine that could over here. We are making a move to the upside. We are fast. We are furious. And I want to see what we do at 192.60. Why? Because that was honestly one of the last green candles that we had before making that big plummet to the downside. I think that could be an area of interest. Like I said, I always want to see, if I want confirmation for a long, I want to see higher highs, I want to see higher lows. For a short, I want the opposite. NVIDIA to me looks really good, but I want a little bit more confirmation before I dip my toe into that pond. And that's that on that.
I like, and that's that.
Thank you.
The Katina Man is still holding his arm long off that 75, and I'm going to participate in this arm long. I got in a really small position over here. I'm looking to add on the break or the breakdown into the 30s. I want to see if this particular level will hold. We'll see. We're just wetting our beak really small here just to kind of keep things interesting so people don't complain that we're not trading.
I'm trying to get in a trade now.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'm looking to add at the 30s, and here we go. We're going to add a little bit over here. And, we're going to have to fix that anyway. looking to add at this particular area, and for a move up possibly into that around that 76 area. That's going to be the goal for that. The out for me though, the end of the trade, because I didn't get in where Sean got in. He got in around 75. I'm going to wait. I'm going to actually take this out if it breaks 75 to the south side. Right, so we're long at the $0.50, so we're going to risk about 50 pennies. We're going to do a 1-to-1 here on ARM, looking for that 76, and the out will be 75 on ARM. But the market looking like, at least for now, here it is, rejecting before it even got to 17.1. I think the highest point here it got to was 16.992, and now we're back down 20 points. Look at it, headed south in a hurry back into that low 70s area on the future. So the market, you know, it's basically saying, no, we're not going up today. Yeah, I know. I just finished talking about it. Yeah.
That's why I came back.
He's like, how dare you? Let's check on it.
Right? So this is what we're doing today. And
I only have half.
the Katina man has got 50% position left. He got some out at the 30s, 75 30s, and some at 75 50s. So anybody following along with the Katina man's trade, he's already wet his beak a couple of times. 75.15 average price for ARM on the Katina man's trade there. But all I see, Adara, is like a sea of red on my watch list.
Ooh, indeed.
Save and accept for Chinese ADRs. A lot of them are green. Not all, a lot. Baba is red, Neo is red, and then you have a couple of the solar names, Jinko Solar and DQ are also red. Woo! ARM is coming down. All right, so it's time for me to be careful here. You know, the Katina man is reloading at this level, okay? So 75 incoming. Let's see what we get here on 75. Is 75 going to act as a level of support on this? Yeah, that was a nice pop up right there, right back into the 20s. We'll see what we get on ARM.
Yeah, so you guys are strong, long arming the market, I guess, or strong arming the market. Might as well. Neil made a similar find in our chat yesterday, and so I saw that, and I was like, you should have known. Yeah, come on, Sharif. But yeah, so I'm also in a trade because we got to be trading up in here. ABT always be trading. No,
I like
ABC
that.
always be closing. Oh, thank you.
ABT. I love it.
But yeah, go ahead. It's you know, it's open use here. But so I got it at 249 for this Tesla short. I don't dislike this short, mind you, but I'm always a little bit of, you know, a nervous Nelly when I trade. I want to make sure, especially with something like Tesla, that will move in whatever direction it wants to move. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we're pretty stable around this 249. Part of that makes me happy that we're not going decisively higher. The other part of me is a little bit nervous that I'm like, but we need to go lower too. I have two beak wetters set up here. My first is around that 248.50. Like I said, I like kind of full dollar levels, even dollar levels, or $half levels. The rest of my beak wetter, I guess the rest of my position out would be around the 248, because that was definitely an area where we had a lot of chop and churn earlier. That being said, I have no idea if we'll get to either point. I'm just keeping my eye on that tape because you know that's what I do. I look at the tape, I see where we're having some, I guess, a little bit of resistance here. But no, this 249 is holding to a degree that's making me a little bit nervous. It's going to become a new area of support. But you know what? Honestly, this was a lower high. Like when you look at where we close in the candles, it's a lower high, right? So I'm not going to complain about my point of entry on this or things moving down.
Yeah, ARM is knock on the door of 75, so this might be a bit of a loser here as we come down into that level. You know, we're very light, 3 positions, each one with the minimum shareage. So here we go, 75.02, awfully close to getting stopped out on ARM as we now break down on the bid below 70. Let's see, give it a few more seconds here to see if 75 does act as a level of support. But I don't expect like exact dollar holds, but let's see if we get a move up nonetheless. I really am doubting any of the longs today. Should be looking short, everything is negative. Masa Almode. Hi, hello, Big Kyle Burdett. Happy New Year's to you all. Let's give up 4,800 on the ES. You know what I got happening. I know what you're thinking, Kyle. Short, future short trader extraordinaire. Hope you print. Obviously, we're getting a lot of weakness today on the future. Can't really reclaim 17,000, so we'll see how we do. Benton, Sharif. How did Arsenal lose that game yesterday? Okay, before I tell you about that, I'm going to tell you that I'm out of ARM, so that ends up being a loser. How much did I lose there? I need to know. Well, Still positive on the day, so it's okay. Look, man, I don't know how they lost, especially with how well that they played at the Emirates in 2023. It's kind of a shame to lose the last game at the Emirates of the year. I mean, especially in that way. We were 1-8 favorites too to beat West Ham, and West Ham hasn't played well at all away from home. They played well in London Stadium, but eek. That's all I can say. That I didn't actually watch a game, by the way, because I was out with my sister and my niece and nephew who are visiting. So
that's fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Nick Sanders says Liverpool. Yep, Neil would be pleased with your comments. I still have my reservations about Liverpool. I think their defense probably is not up to par, up to snuff, whatever. We'll see. That Konate and Van Dijk partnership is interesting. I just don't know how well they're going to do. Sharif, do you bet on football? No, I don't bet on any sports whatsoever. I don't really have the inclination to. I'm just interested for the sake of, I'm just interested in the sport itself. I don't need to be kind of enticed using betting and stuff like that. It's just not my thing, not disrespecting it, obviously. But a lot of people have, a lot of people bet and they do well on it, guys. Crypto is absolute Redsville. Mara is down 15.5%. Riot, 12.5. CLSK, 17.33. Coinbase, 7.5. MicroStrategies, almost 6. Wow. Wowzers. That's all I can say to that. So yeah. Shout out to Inspector Gadget. A lot of red in crypto, but that's normal because we've been absolutely flying to the high side as of late. Affirm also having a bad day, 5 2/3 to the downside. Upstart 8.5% to the downside on Upstart. Geez Louise, a lot is red. I'm just looking for any outlying names here on my watch list on the side, but that's about it. Oh, yeah. By the way, guys, I leave today at 1, so Obi is nice enough to fill take my spot from 1 to 2, and then he jumps on again with the Katina Man on the closing show.
Yeah, very busy man. Yeah, thank you very much to Obi for filling in here and doing like double duty at this point. But yeah, we should have some good conversations. Maybe we'll look at some Amazon. Who knows? Yes. Who could guess? We'll find out. But yeah, right now I'm also trying to find out what Tesla wants to be when it grows up. And so yeah, there's a really interesting point here in the chat here. Let me find it. Jacobo Rivero saying, Adara, not a good idea, that short, look at that head and shoulders inverted. Yes, that's actually a good point. I do see what you mean about there is a little bit of a potential neckline at that 249.50, but my area of an out was always going to be that 249.50 is like a stop, because I get nervous when I see stuff like this. Like, I appreciate you putting that out for me, Jacobo, but I have to say I still like the look of this short as long as we keep rejecting off that 249.50, which we have with the vengeance. Now we're back kind of below my point of entry, right? So I do appreciate you bringing that up, though. That's something I should have looked at myself, because sometimes these chart patterns, they don't always come to fruition, but it's always good to kind of be cognizant of them. So I do appreciate you bringing that one up there. I do like the, yeah, I like the look of this short still for now, but it doesn't look like we really want to see that break above 249.50, and these failed wicks earlier above that 249.50 make me feel pretty happy. Harry Lou in the chat, Adara and Obi.
Yeah, I saw that.
I figured
hilarious.
Two punishers together today. Yeah, I mean, we definitely pun, the two of us, for sure. I know at one point there was a, I think this is when it was Neil and Obi on the big desk, but there was about like, you know, who does better puns, Obi or Adara? And I think Obi won. I think Obi's puns are very solid as well. I've told him this. So yeah, I mean, I think we'll be having a good time. Lots of pun happening the rest of this vintage show. Fugazi Bear, 199 super chat. Thank you so much. Thanks for the coin alert. $sign. Well, yeah, we hope you're raking in those $signs with that coin. So always happy to be here and spread the news. Like Sharif says, like, we're here for everybody, right? Like, we're here to just make sure people are making Lado. Yeah, let's look at coin actually, because Tesla's still percolating here, still baking. I have nothing to say on that. Yeah, coin's a really, look at this kind of bottom on coin, this 171.36. Will we break above it? Will we transcend? Will we move up? Will we move down? Yeah, I have to admit, I'm very curious about coin right now. I want to look at Mara again as well, because I've been looking at Mara occasionally here. Oh yeah, okay, Mara's still, I keep forgetting Mara's on my side chart. Like, calm down, Adara. But yeah, we do have, because yeah, I do have my little, I'm going to pull up my Mara side chart. This is my, see, he's right there. And I kept ignoring it. But yeah, so Mara looking like we're seeing a bit of consolidation here, this 2351 area. We're going to have to see what occurs. But yeah, I mean, definitely the general theme for Mara, lower lows, lower highs. To the downside is Mara digging a hole for itself in its Bitcoin mining. You know, that was kind of a weak pun.
That's okay.
There we go. Bit of weak sauce, but we, you know. Like, here we go. Let me see what else. Yeah, this is so funny. Jordan Rotenberg saying you made a pun admitting pun defeat. Obi-Wan. I didn't even think of that. Like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
That's too much.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Some people in the chat mentioning this one too. Yeah, I mean, that was not intentional. Look at that. Look at that. Also, Mas Alamode saying, can we take another look at TSM? I'm thinking about exiting my short now. Yeah, for sure. We have not looked at TSM today to my knowledge. Have you looked at TSM today?
No, I rarely ever look at TSM. It's on NYSE.
Thank you. Sorry, because my chart like closed out and had to reopen. It's doing weird things about the auto typing. But here we go. Yeah, TSM, I can look at it wider term because I'm guessing that's what you are referring to here. But yeah, look at this. We were kind of making this move to the downside earlier. Then at open, we had this really nice consolidation. Fell with a vengeance, just like everything else. We did make a higher high on this one, though, so we'll have to see. Are we going to make a higher low as well? Interesting look on the day. Let's look at the daily chart here. Daily chart for TSM looking, I have to say, mighty fine. Let me zoom out a little. Oh, hello. Yeah, I mean, what's interesting though is it looks like we're not gonna make this higher high of this 106, because this was our earlier high, right? We had this 106. Before getting to 106, we kind of fell down to the 105. Now we are around that 104 area, right? So this is kind of an interesting look. Let's see where we go from here, because we did also have a bit of a double bottom at the 86 that we moved up from, right? So we're sort of still in an upward channel, but I do think that failure of that 106 is interesting and something to keep in mind here, especially since you mentioned you're short. Again, we do not do advice, but I will say it's an interesting look here. Mas Alamode saying, thank you for that. Sharif also said the chart was interesting yesterday.
Interesting, okay. Tarksa, Adara, Sharif, 11B in options today for BTC is causing this as well. I don't know what that is. Can you explain what that is? 11B?
11 billion and oh yeah, that's
11
the BTC
billion in
we were talking about yesterday.
Oh, okay. Oh, really? Okay. I had no idea that there was an unusual options activity on BTC. I'm completely illiterate when it comes to, well, not completely illiterate. I get the basics, but I'm not good at it at all. And I should really expand my game to look at unusual options activity. I know a lot of traders do that. They look for whales to kind of show their hand by buying or selling options in a certain direction, and then kind of using that as the basis for entering and exiting trades. So yeah, I definitely should be a little bit better. People dumping Tesla, says that'll be Peter. Yes, Tesla rejecting off that 250 level at the moment. I'm involved in this NVIDIA long at that 491 area, kind of moved up, basing out at this area, looking for a move up into that 492. We'll see what we get on NVDA. We've kind of stalled out in our descent on the future, kind of holding up above that 16,950. We're in the 60s now. Let's see if we get a mean reversion back into 17,000. If we do, NVIDIA probably runs a little bit to the north side. So we'll see what we get on NVIDIA. Very small positions though today, guys. Not taking anything at all big because, well, you see what's happening today. So especially on the longs, maybe you can really size up on the shorts, but I feel like it's extended to the downside already. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like I mentioned earlier, Chinese ADR is quite strong. The strongest of the bunch in ADR world today has to be XBEV up over 3%. And then you have TME as well, Tencent up big, Tencent Music, TME. Then there is obviously the other Tencent, TCHE, that's not the one I'm talking about. NTES, NetEase up 4 3/4. Ooh. Yeah, and NetEase and Tencent were absolutely destroyed earlier this week, and I believe into last week as well, as there was that negative headline coming out of China with respect to gaming and regulations and stuff. So those got absolutely destroyed. They're running up today though. So some good, if you're looking for something long, Chinese ADRs, at least on my watch list, are green at the moment. What else is green? Is energy green? Now, well, oil's up 0.5%, but the equities really aren't following. Moving down, I'm looking to see what else is green as a sector, not individually. Uranium, all green in uranium world. I can't believe CCJ is at 43 bucks. That was like the missed trade of the year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's too bad for me, but whatever. Yeah, that's basically it. Now we're doing this dance at 491 on NVIDIA, looking for the move back at least into the $0.5. I've got a beak wetter here at the $0.25, and then we're going to be looking for that 92 prints. But it looks like it's moving to the side. Like, here's the thing though on NVDA, it's really straddling S2 from the downside. So now it's finding resistance at S2 after breaking down below it. So looking for a clearing of this level over here, kind of a random level to really stall out at that 491.5, 491-ish area, but we'll see. We'll see if we get continuity. Breaking down now again into 490.68 area.
Yeah, no, I think certainly an interesting look. I think that NVIDIA long looks very pretty.
Well,
indeed.
right now it's making me second guess it.
That's yeah, it's always hard, but I feel like the setup for it, you know what I mean, is decent for sure. This Tesla, I'm about to get my first big winner in this Tesla short if this Cybertruck continues to drive off that highway. Please, please, please. Not in general, obviously, like my hypothetical metaphorical Cybertruck in which I'm driving at this grade. Not down for cars crashing. Should clarify that there. Also, there were some nice puns I was seeing here about your options comment. Here we go. Darwin saying, can't always be a jack of all trades. I liked that. And then Roger saying, jack of all trades and a master of none. I like a good pun. I think it's very solid times. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, you know, people have different things they're good at. Like, I know you really follow the NQ futures, right? So that's what you do. I mean, Obi really follows his Amazon. Like, everybody's going to have different I guess, types of assets or types of equities that you're more comfortable in or that you trade better at. I mean, I'm still learning. I'm still in the sim. I'm just trying to get a sense of anything, right? So, but I'm excited. It's like interesting and kind of comforting to know that everybody has different things they specialize in and that they kind of work on and get good at. They're here too. Shannon W saying, Mara will go under 20 next week. I said that kind of shouty because it's in all caps, so very, very serious stuff over here. Yeah, Mara, I mean, I don't want to make any like crazy predictions here, but Mara definitely on the day looks like it is heading, I was going to say heading to the downside, but it's down. Ooh, look at these last two daily candles on Mara. That is marked. That is a marked move to the downside, I have to say. And it's interesting too, because we had that, but we came out of this really nice move to the upside. This was like all parabolic. Yeah, from October, I guess when all the stocks started to have their November to remember, we had Mara follow suit, run to the upside here. So really, really good look, I have to say, for Mara. In terms of it being under 20, I would say this 20 area is kind of interesting too, because that was where we had a bit of a top out around July 2023, and also almost a double top. This one was slightly lower this August 2022. But yeah, I think either way, this 1920 area could be interesting. And with the rate with which Mara is dumping, could be possible. But you know, there's a new year, new day. We're gonna have to see what occurs. But yeah, I will definitely keep an eye on this with regards to Mara. Tesla also looks like, unfortunately, we're picking up a little bit here on where is this? Yeah, Tesla looks like it's picking up a little bit off of that 248.50, much to my deepest chagrin, but we're gonna have to see what occurs here. Don't mind the short though. Like I said, we did have that failure off of that 249.50 and then that 249 that I was hoping for. So we're gonna wait and see. I might change some beak wetters to use a Sharifism here. But yeah, I like how this is going. I like how it's going. We got out of NVIDIA?
Yeah, no good. CING, people are yelling in the chat. Let's have a look at CING. Any day. So why am I looking at this again? Down 10%. Let's see the 5-minute look here. Popping up a little bit now. Okay, I see. Nice little move up off that $7. I guess it gapped down aggressively. I mean, I don't know. What's the volume on CING today? 2.13 million. I mean, I think it did a lot more than that the last little bit, right? Let's see what the daily was yesterday. So yesterday we did about, 50 million shares of volume. The day prior to that, sorry. Yesterday we did 22 million shares. Today we've done 1.8. So yeah, it's not going to be for me. I got to tell you the truth. I'm going to stay clear of that one on CING, but it's a nice move up. Higher highs, higher lows. Looking to break through that 9. A lot of wicks on this one. Be careful. The float, though, is 685,000 shares. So can absolutely be flung around in one direction or the next. So be careful with that. I don't really have any trades on at the moment. Nothing really here for me. Gave back, everything that I made on the future. Now I'm flat on the day. So was up. Yeah, that's what happens when you overtrade, but that's just the way it is around here. Yeah, that's it. Everything curling back down. So Apple broke down below 192 again. The future right back at 16,950. Google right at 139, I should say. Sorry. My voice. Amazon on the way back down to 151 possibly. It's at the $0.50 area. And likewise with Meta, 352 area incoming possibly. SNTG, any thoughts on this move today? Yeah, we talked a little bit about it earlier. Let me flip back from CING here. SNTG, this one's a rocket ship over 300%. This is the 5-minute look here. Looks like we definitely made several 5-minute candles to make new highs, and we're coming into that $8 area again. That is where we had a lot of resistance on SNTG, that $8 sure we got into that almost 850, but look where the closing prints are. They're all at that 7 3/4 area, but we're moving right back up on SNTG right now, 325%. Very short float, 1 million shares. Be careful with this one. Picky Eater bears back from lunch. It looks like it, man. It looks like we are headed to the downside today. Mo, Sharif, ADTX. I did see that one earlier.
Yeah, this one was on, I believe I had this on the small cap recap. This one is a wicked short float. It's
yeah.
Like 45% short float or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Here's the look on ADTX. This one popped up into 8.5. Now we're doing the dance with no pants here at 6 1/3, I believe. Let me just move down so that I can get it updated. There we go. Into 6 1/5. To me, it's a no-go, and I'll tell you why. It's below VWAP. The only move for me on this one would have been the break of the pre-market high. I would have had an order at 9:30 for 1 penny above 750, let's say 751, and I would have taken it probably for a 50 penny winner. But I would not trade this right now to the long side, maybe to the short side, especially if you break $6. That'd be a nice flat bottom break because you are finding some support at $6. So if you're able to secure shorts on ADTX, which probably many of you are, IBKR has them. So if IBKR has them, then anybody literally has them because IBKR is the worst for providing shorts. Do better, Interactive Brokers. You suck for shorts. You're good for other stuff. You're not great for shorts.
One of the funniest shout-outs I've ever heard.
I know.
To do better.
Do better. Yeah, $6 flat bottom break would be nice on ADTX. I personally wouldn't take it north though until it reclaims that 7 1/3, 7 1/4 area above VWAP. That's just my rule, but I mean, you could probably do a lot better if you did it your own way. That's just what I have to say about that. Not much else to talk about here, except maybe the future. I'm going to be keeping my eyes on the 16,950 area. I'm looking for a possible double bottom here, and I won't be one of the first people to jump in on the backside. I'm going to wait for the break of the neckline to really participate, but I probably won't because I only have half an hour left.
That's true.
I got a boogie going skiing, baby.
Ooh.
Going up north. We're going to do some skiing. We got a nice little lodge that we rented.
That sounds really nice.
Yeah. I'm kind of pumped about that. I haven't skied in all year. Well, apparently Brendo just came back from the same area that I'm going to, and he was like, there's no snow up there. Obviously, snow machines on the hills, but it's never really as good as real snow because it's not packed in and stuff. So
that's cool.
I am pumped. I might actually snowboard. I don't know. I haven't decided. I haven't snowboarded in 10 years. Can I tell you why?
Please tell me, yeah.
You have your plant foot, obviously, for snowboarding, right? The one that you plant and then you try to maneuver with. So I find one leg gets really, really exhausted and the other leg is not tired at all.
That's
and as a person who works out a lot, all I'm thinking is one leg is getting a workout and the other isn't. I'm creating inconsistencies and disparities in my body. I want nothing to do with this, right?
I love that that's your thought. I was gonna thought it was gonna be
Right?
like, oh, your one leg is getting more sore than the other. No, but your issue
No,
is
no, I don't care. Let it get sore. But if there was going to be like no, yeah. So anyway, I'm a little crazy.
Really funny.
Don't mind me. But anyway, that's why I like
Yeah.
skiing, because like each leg is obviously individual.
Yeah,
and-
no,
yeah.
skiing is.
Then switch goofy-footed.
hard.
I've never tried that. I don't want to try with my. I want to keep my lead foot as the lead foot, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Skiing is easier to learn, harder to master. Snowboarding is the reverse. Interesting. I've never heard it put like that. Sharif, like the dude and the lady in the water when he snowboards. Man, I'll snowboard you any day. I'll run circles around you, boy. Could you look, please, at ESPR? Sure, let's go. ESPR. Let's have a look at that. What do we got on ESPR? I haven't seen this one today. Let's switch this
It's an
one.
interesting recovery for sure.
Esper.
For
What do we got here? Okay. First and foremost, what does this company do? So this company is Esperion Therapeutics, pharma company, focused on developing and commercializing oral once-a-day non-statin medicines for patients struggling with elevated low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, LDL, in other words. Company profile, 113 million share float, $350-ish million mega, market cap. Let's look at the daily. Ooh, nice little run up lately. Not a bad look there at all. Kind of based out sub $1 at that 80 penny, let's say 70 penny area. And it's been stair-stepping its way to the north side through $1, no problem. Now into that $3 area, breaking through the 200 EMA. Now the 50 is pointing north. This is a great look on this particular name. I like this. Zooming out though, we were coming from a long way up. Look at this, July 2020 area, we're at $50, so needless to say, right, there we have a long way to move. Now, with respect to resistance, there's really nothing standing in our way until we get into that $5, $5.50 area. That is the kind of the consolidation bottom that we made from December of last year into around early March of this year, and then we kind of huadunked. You could tell this was probably earnings here on March 16th as the amount of volume and the price action typically kind of tip that hand a little bit. So I'd say you're in the clear until you get to 5, 5.5, and then you may encounter some resistance there. So, huh? Bitcoin, Katinaman just pointed out the fact that Bitstonk is at 41,800, down 1.5%, and we've also given up the ghost on Ethereum at 2,300. We're at below 2,300 now. 2.33% to the downside on Ethereum and 1.5% to the downside on Bitcoin. On decent volume on Ethereum. The mining names and the exchange names have all been absolutely slapped in the face. Mara's down almost 16%. Riot, 13.5%. CLSK, CleanSpark, 17.16%. MicroStrategy, 6.5%. So there's a lot of damage being done in that particular industry there.
Yeah, Tesla recovering. I want to talk about this Tesla short because I think this is why, like I've talked about this a lot and how I'm kind of trying to find a way to find a trading strategy that works for me, that that I can kind of stick with, as especially because I think a big part of the sim journey, at least for me, has been trying to find some consistency. Do you know what I mean here? That's my main goal. And so I think one thing I've noticed in my journey thus far is I'm most consistent. And I feel like I'm trading at my best when I'm doing the scalping. So that's why I started coming up with my scalpulation thing, as I call it, which is where I'm looking really hard at the tape for specific levels, and I'm still entering on what I see in the chart. So this paid off for this Tesla short. I got in at this 249, and I got in there because I was noticing we were really holding to that 249 like glue. We'd have these wicks at the upside, but we kept failing them. I was patient, I waited, and I was gonna initially take profit at 248.50 and 248 flat. We never got to 248 even, so I got out my first piece of profit at 248.50. Then I was watching the tape and I said, we're kind of stalling a little bit here, but I think we can get it to 248.40. That's where I ended up taking the rest of my profit. So I mean, yeah, definitely maybe a weirder strategy. It does require a lot of tape watching, like watching at the docks here, but tape. So kind of a different strategy, but I just wanted to kind of talk above that there. Wuko saying Tesla needs to get above 249.50. I would concur. If you're thinking Tesla long, I think 249.50 is the hurdle that you must hop over there. You know, we kind of need to have that, because I would argue even at a slightly lower high. We're about 249.60, then we had 249.50. So that's kind of a distinction without a difference. It's not distinctly different. Shout out to Obi. I had to. But yeah, no, I think
He's chatting up a storm.
there we go. But yeah, so I would say this is not like it's a distinctly different low, but it's certainly a bit of a lower low. So I think Tesla could be getting a bit compression-y here. We're seeing slightly higher lows. I also think we could be seeing lower highs. So I want to wait and see what we have shaking here. AJNY saying, nice play, Adara, on Tesla. Thank you. Appreciate that. But yeah, so let's look. Also, I was talking to Bears versus Bulls in the chat here as well. I was saying skiing kind of stresses me out because I ran into like, I put it in the chat in a ditch. I think more accurately, I ran into a tree.
Okay.
But yeah, so skiing is very scary to me. People who do it well.
Did you actually run into a tree?
On my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Well, skiing. It was the day before my birthday.
Were you older or like
younger? I was
younger?
like 16, yeah. I think it was the eve of my 17th birthday. And yeah, it was, so that I thought that was kind of funny. But yeah, so that's why skiing, I find it to be a bit more of a stressful time. I like it, but yeah, that was, I mean, I think doing that on your birthday, you're just kind of like,
yeah, you don't want that experience on your birthday. You want it to be a good
time. Your birthday, like laid up, you know what I mean? But yeah, some people mentioning this chat. Yeah, it's a very stressful time here as well. Also, COP69 tagging you with a stock here. I can pull it up. AMR.
Oh, I already pulled it up. I'm ready for it. Yeah. So this is a beautiful, beautiful chart. COP69. Let's look at that. Put the ticker in here. This is an absolute rocket ship. Now, what percentage is it up since it IPO'd? Just a cool 2,400%.
Are you serious? From
top to bottom, yeah. If you count from here, when it IPO'd in February 2021 till now, up 2,400%, guys. That's a beautiful looking stock, and it really kind of got going, Adara, in the summer. I mean, it was quite consolidated. Look how sideways it was from April 2022 to about July 2023. Was in a bit of a range, and then boom goes the dang dynamite from July until these highs today. From July, we're up 133% since July. That's a great look. I don't know anything about this company. Alpha Metallurgical Resources is a mining company with operations across Virginia and West Virginia. The company is principally engaged in supplying metallurgical products to the steel industry. The company extracts, processes, and makes met and thermal coal. I knew it. It had to be coal because it's in the Virginias. From deep and surface mines for sale to steel and coke producers? What the hell is a coke producer? Industrial customers and electric utilities. The more I read about this kind of stuff, the more I feel like I know nothing. PE is fantastic, 7 versus the industry standard of 14. Cash flow is an absolute monster on this company, 58.24 versus industry standard of 0.04. Remember what Alfred said about cash flow? And Kevin O'Leary yesterday, cash flow. This is a really good looking stock, man. I got to tell you the truth. AMR, not one that's ever been on my radar before. I mean, I know some of these mining names, but they're mostly for like battery mining, not coal and steel and stuff like that. Great looking chart. I don't have anything else to say other than it looks good. From a technical sense, there's really nothing that I can say here because we just made an all-time high back on the 27th, given a little bit today. Obviously knocking on the door of that 350 area, a bit of a consolidation area over here, where that 350 area can't break, but it's a blue sky setup. It is a blue sky setup. And I want to show you one thing, Adara. Does this look like a Head and Shoulders to you?
It does.
Okay, I wanted to point this out. And the reason I want to point this out, because look, it's got all the right ingredients.
Yes.
It's got an uptrend preceding it. It's got a left shoulder below the head and a right shoulder, and it's got a neckline
really
break.
Strong neckline.
And we only got a temporary breakdown. I mean, off the high, so let's say 270 high over here, okay? Where do we get down to? 220. So even though you could have, with the net break here, you could have taken it on the break of 240, you would have printed $20. But this is very short term. I just wanted to point that out because it's an obvious Head and Shoulders. and it's preceded by the uptrend, but didn't huadunk. So if you had been doing the measuring thing that we talked about, which measuring from the neckline break to the head and measure down, let's see if you would have actually got
maybe
that.
it looks.
So hold on, the neckline break here is say like the neckline break is around 235, 235 to 268. Okay, so you have about 32 bucks, and so 32 bucks from here, 238 down. Okay, not quite, but you would have gotten a little bit of a move off it. Anyway, it's a great looking stock. I don't have anything other than to say that it's a good looker from a technical perspective, and from the fundamentals that I see here, it looks really good.
Yeah. And I think it shows too, like what you were talking about, the big thing I kind of need, I'm still trying to learn, is that just because a pattern looks like it's going to materialize does not mean it will materialize. And that sort of materialized, but not to the extent we thought it would, right? It kind of went out with a whimper instead of went out with a bang. So and now we've rallied even higher. So I think that's a really interesting look. I think it's the example too of that Li Auto example that you were showing on that daily chart, where it's like Li Auto kind of did not exactly do the pattern you'd expect it to do, or that it was set up to do. But yeah, so I think that is an interesting one here. Also,
I just wanted to mention something here.
Yes.
Picky Eater is educating me, and I really appreciate this. He says, to make steel in a blast furnace, coal must first be turned into coke. Coke has a dual role in the steel making process. Thank you very much for that. And then Anthony above him said, coke is something used to produce steel. I mean, guys, I had no idea. Nelson Dickerson, coke is what is used to burn in the furnaces to make pig iron, which is then turned into steel. Huh. I love this, man. The chat just educates you all the time for stuff that I have no idea about. You know, I don't know anything about coal or steel making for that matter. So thank you guys for letting me know what that was. Appreciate it.
Yeah, very knowledgeable in the chat. What I love, everybody's coming from different walks of life.
Yes, exactly.
Spreading new knowledge. And another thing that spreads us knowledge that I would like to talk about is a shout out to our friends at Benzinga Pro. So yeah, really great tool. Strafe's always saying, I use it all the time. I really do use it all the time. I use it for making the watch list. It is a huge tool that I use. And actually, you know, you can sign up today for Benzinga Pro for 50% off their premier news and research platform for retail traders. What you need though is the code TTV capital letters. That is TTV capital letters. You just have to use the link in the description to go to the checkout. So that is Benzinga. That's the look on Benzinga, which I use for everything. Also too, I can talk about, I'm looking at Microsoft. I got into this short. I clearly got out too early, but I also would argue I entered too late. Sorry, I got out too early and I entered too early. But yeah, because Microsoft clearly was a short. Like I said, I want to take profit around that.
A hell of a double bottom if that
right now, I think it might actually move back up. So that's why I'm staying out of this for now.
It was strong earlier, remember? Before the Huadum?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everything Huadum. It wasn't on its own in that regard. But yeah, interesting there.
But no, I'm liking the look of this too, because I mean, like, Microsoft's had a really crazy year. We made new highs this year. We had all that OpenAI drums, and Satya Nadella saving the day by being like, hey, Sam and Greg, come over to me in Microsoft, right? So I was literally thinking the other day, you know what would make such a good miniseries or docuseries? The Sam Altman getting ousted from OpenAI and then being brought back.
Absolutely.
The amount
that would
of
make a
times I think about this,
amazing movie.
So much. But yeah, so I think it's a really interesting look here on Microsoft. I think you're right about it's really going to matter what we do
if
at
we have to break that neckline, though.
Yeah, like I'm not touching it till we do anything there, but yeah.
Nicole Harris, you're hilarious. You're like, soda Coke or Reagan's 80s Coke? Come on now. Come on, Nicole. We know what you're saying there. Okay.
I enjoyed that joke.
Yeah. Different person. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, it's funny. It's funny. It's just I can't read it out loud. It's funny. Fee rhymes with MC Sharif. They're over there counting the minutes. Yeah. Oh, come on, man. I still have to take the subway home. I had to leave my car for my sister. Otherwise, she's stranded. So I'm going to have to schlep up into Midtown. Or apparently, according to the Katina man, I don't live in Midtown.
Yeah, this whole debate
I live in
was
Uptown
so funny.
now.
Wait, so but you live near Yorkdale, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize, I don't know well enough.
I'm south of Yorkdale by a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So by
Yorkdale's at the 401. I'm in between York Mills and Lawrence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Toronto
just
stuff,
Midtown. Yeah, it's a whole lot of Toronto talk that maybe a lot of people don't care about. Guys, we're curling up. We're curling up. I don't know if it's dead cat bounce-ish, but I want to make an observation. A lot of these Mag 7 names are making higher lows. Apple is not one of them. Look at Amazon. Look at the move down. You have the ultimate low at 150.103, and then this low over here, look at this, a higher low at that 150.150. So that's showing that buyers, overwhelming sellers on this particular name. Not so for our friend Apple, where we made that initial low at 190.190, and then we went on to make a newer low at 171.72. So Apple looking distinctly different here from the other ones. I'm saying that tongue-in-cheekish, okay, I know. Than the other names. Meta, a bit of, just looks like a clean double bottom there, but, again, like with Softy, we're going to need to break that 354 level to really get confirmation. Google, another one of those ones that made a higher low. So initially you had a 138.78 bottom, and then this one made a 138.95 bottom right there. So kind of that look. NVIDIA is part of that, part of that crew as well with the higher low, but I already got lost on NVIDIA, so I don't want to get into the whole thing with it, as I have about 15 minutes left on the show. Probably won't be enough time to actually print on this, but if we start tanking again, guys, Apple looking like the weakest of the bunch. Amazon, in my humble opinion, looking like the strongest of the bunch right now with that distinct higher low than the other ones. So
I thought you were going to say distinctly different higher
I just
low.
said it. I mean, I don't want to kill the dude saying, right?
That's fair.
John, Big John Del Segno, IWM strong, bottom, and nice W cupping. Want to have a look at IWM?
I would love to. IWM, originally I wrote IMW, so that's a fun time. IWM on the Amex. Oh, we're down on the day here. Ooh, okay, I would agree. This is a bit of a, yeah, I was making the sounds when I get excited.
I do that too. I do that too.
Yeah, no,
I get
we're both like,
excited.
very
Yeah,
hopeful
yeah.
when we see things we like on charts.
Yes, ma'am.
Strong bottom and nice W copy. Yeah, I would really agree like this. And I think when John Del Segno was saying bottom, I'm assuming it's around this 201 area. I really like the look of this. You know what we've done? We've made a higher high. Boop, boop. Now our next goal. Also, what's interesting is it's kind of around this area where we had this candle, this top and turn here, around this 201.33. You know what's next? The next frontier for IWM as it braves on its Russell journey today is that 201.75. So we have to break that. Also, I think I saw it in the chat yesterday or something. Someone said every day I'm rustling, and I like as a reference to that. Every day, yes. So I think apparently he says hustling like 46 times or something in that song. But rap knowledge, I just know. But yeah, so anyways, I saw that yesterday and was like, may as well shout this out. But I really do like the look of this IWM. I would agree, John Del Segno. I would be looking for a 201.75 break to the upside for this to be a long. But it doesn't, like, this bottom is very strong that I think even if you do go long, again, not advice, but just observation, I think 201 is not a bad area for like a stop loss. Also, I actually might get in on this, so thank you for bringing this up because I do like the look of this. Should we break that 201.75, 201.80 with some decision, with some viciousness, you know what I mean? I like the look of this, to be clear. What else is happening here? Gork Trades, I can't read this name, I'm sorry. Manifesting Apple and Tesla bull run, LOL. Yeah, Apple's still pretty weak. Tesla, though, I can pull up Tesla. I was in, I took a couple drives in the Cybertruck today, and they actually both were successful, so I'm pretty happy.
I got excited for
I
a
know,
second,
I need to
bro.
stop
You
making
have
Cybertruck
no
analogies
idea.
because
Like,
I do
I'm
it,
like,
and then
took
you
a
think
ride
I'm
in a
actually
Cybertruck.
driving the Cybertruck.
Like, where did you even see one? I still haven't even seen one on the road yet.
No, but no, also apparently Cybertruck got into a crash with a Corolla. Did you see this?
I'm not liking the Corolla's chances on that.
Yeah,
What happened?
So I'll pull up the whole story, but yeah, I know a lot of people are being like, oh, people think it's like a lot of just Tesla bears being upset, but it was a 17-year-old driving the Corolla. Sounds like it was more the Corolla's fault.
Oh, okay.
Out of all the stories, apparently it was like really populating on Reddit, but a couple like legit sources have also, like it's not, you know what I mean? I thought
Corolla accident.
Yeah,
Let's find out.
accident.
Here we
But yeah,
go.
no, the Tesla stock itself, while you pull that up, looks a little bit compression-y because we have these lower highs, but we also have these higher lows. So I would like to see what occurs here. I think it'll be, yeah, very interesting look. Also, M Stone in the chat saying, low volume lunch. Let's see what happens post-lunch. Will the seller return? Who will return? Yeah, this is the crash I saw.
This is it?
Yeah, I think so. We'll have to find out what happens. Also, Steve J saying Tesla is doing nothing. LOL, people wild. Yeah, I have to agree. Right now, since we did make that lower low, so not much time.
Mark, look at the Corolla over here.
Oof.
Yeah, that's the Corolla over here.
Yeah.
Damaged quite bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's the way it is.
No,
Sharif, coke is a fuel for blast furnaces and sinsters used to refine iron ore and make steel, etc. Thank you very much for that. Zenod 10. Oh, I think you're behind on the stream a little bit though, because we kind of asked that a little while ago. But thank you for chiming in. I do appreciate that. Had no idea what coke was, guys. Say it again. Oh, you think so? Like 10 minutes ago, Ramra? All right, maybe. I'm not saying our stream is delayed. I think maybe somehow some people rewind. That's what I mean. All right, low volume lunch. Let's see what happens post lunch. Will sellers return? Says M Stone. Great question, especially with where we are on the future right now. We are kind of coming into that neckline break. Look, I'm not going to be pounding the table here saying we're going to be bullish, but we are finding a bit of a double bottom, but we're still below many technical levels. First and foremost, we have a little bit of a higher low here on the NQ. That's good. The second thing is we need a break of the neckline, the W neckline over here for the double bottom to really get that confirmation. Then just right above that, we have 17,000 with which to contend. Above that, we kind of have VWAP right there, also at 17,030. So many technical levels to get through. A lot of hurdles on the way, not insurmountable by any means. Here we go. We're pumping into the 80s again. Can we get a 17,000 break on the future and turn this market around? If we do, I'm willing to bet that Amazon probably benefits the most off it because of where the double bottom is. Not even a double bottom, the higher low, I would say, kind of puts Amazon in pole position to benefit from any move up. I'm not saying we get a move up. If we get a move up, I feel Amazon is the stronger of the patterns. I would say Apple is the weakest of the bunch. If we continue to move down, I think Apple will probably take it more on the chin than any of the others, just by virtue of the fact that it made a newer low, while Amazon has a higher low on that last little punch. I made that point already, but I want to stress that again because we are getting to that point where we may have to make that decision. And because we're coming into that 17,000 area, and if we break 17,000 or reject off 17,000, whichever the case may be, there's going to be some action here on the future. So keep your eyes on that, I guess.
Keep your eyes apprised.
Yeah. Keep your
eyes on the prize and apprised.
Have you ever heard the expression, that's some rare air?
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yeah. I really liked it. On the
between.
Compound, I was listening to the Compound today, and one of the guests, he's the CEO of CrowdStrike. Josh Brown had him on, and he used that expression, and I liked it. He's like, yo, we're in rare air territory, baby. You know what I mean? It's like, there's some rare air here. So I'm going to be using that for now.
Yeah.
Leroy Jenkins. Trading is essentially very boring, so major kudos to the whole team for being able to entertain, teach 6 hours plus live every single day for years. You guys are number one. Thank you, my man. You're number one. And that's nice and kind of you to say. We do appreciate that. It is a tough job. I got to tell you the truth. I tell everybody all the time, it's really tough doing multiple things at one time, but you kind of get used to it. Diaz 29. Sharif, interesting divergence between relative volume in the Qs, in the triple Qs, and the SPY, with the S&P at about half of the relative volume and the NQ trading significantly above relative volume. Very interesting. Yeah, so that means to me that it's more tech focused. Whatever the offloading that came in today, and there was quite a bit of offloading. We'll have to look at the volume later on the NQ, but it's probably more tech related if that's the case, because we know the NQ obviously is tech specific. John Del Segno, bonds, specifically TMF blasting off the bottom. Yes, sir. Let's have a look at the TMF for Big John Del Segno. Oops, TMF, which is the 20-year yield, right? TMF. Oh, it's 3 times. Yeah, you showed me this one yesterday. This is the 3 times. Yeah, it's a great look. higher lows, higher highs, above VWAP, just made day's high right now at 66.29, broke through this initial candle of 66.24. Fantastic look. But I gotta tell you, we're coming right into yesterday's closing price, so be careful with resistance right here. This white line, 66.27, that's yesterday's close, and that's also kind of like the mean area yesterday when we broke down. That's kind of like the mean area of that where it kind of just goes through the middle of the price action there. But great look, possible resistance right now. Keep your eye on that. Arthur Grasso, thoughts on Rivian daily chart? You want to have a look at Rivian?
Yeah, I like looking at Rivian. I know Neil trades a decent amount of Rivian
he loves
as well.
Rivian,
Because
yeah.
I know, like, I feel like I've heard him mention it as like kind of like a counter move to Tesla sometimes. Sometimes they'll move kind of similarly. I don't want to misquote, but that's kind of what I've heard. Rivian's getting interesting because Rivian is literally flat on the day. It like definitely made a stronger move up when the rest of these names are covered. But yeah, look at this. So we had lots of consolidation in the pre-market around this 23.65. Then we had a bit of a move down right as we opened. Spiked up. I almost said spoke up. It did not speak up. It spiked up and then flew to the downside like all these other names. Then we, around 10:45, well, because all the other names took a little bit longer to pick up, Rivian immediately started picking up to the upside. We just broke above VWAP, which is, again, not always an area of important interaction here for stocks, but I think this is a really interesting look. Roger's saying they're competitors. Yeah, I mean, they're both in the EV space, right? But I think they're interesting with kind of looking at, like, Tesla.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for, like, different, like, plays within sectors, right? Or plays within
now they're
spaces.
definitely a competitor with the Cybertruck because
Oh,
Rivian
yeah,
was only
Rivian
making
does the
SUVs.
trucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
They
RT.
had that AT&T deal though a couple weeks ago. I know that was really good for the stock. Yeah, I think like what we're kind of getting into this area though that we had that huge quadunk to show you the Sharifism here to the downside off this 23.55. So I think what we do at 23.55 could be of interest, especially with it coming into confluence with the fact that we were flat on the day. So I think what we do here at this 23.55 will be interesting. 23.8 will also be interesting because that was kind of where we had that closing like candle. When I say like I mean candle close, like it's the highest day that we had where we were at like actually in the candle.
What's your favorite EV?
The ET9 because I'm basic. I really like that Neo ET9, that new one with like the separators. However, I also enjoyed the Lucid Air.
Yeah, that's a monster.
The moon car.
I saw that again on the weekend. I was, not even the weekend, a couple of days ago, went to Yorkdale with the sister and the niece and the nephew, and they have a store there. It's a monster in the back. You sit in the back, and you think it's like a regular sedan. The distance between your knees and the seat is like this big. It's huge.
This is in Yorkdale?
Yeah.
Okay, well next time my friend
Right in front of
Yorkdale
Starbucks.
sometime. Oh.
Yeah, right in front of Starbucks.
Okay, I'm really excited next time I go to Yorkdale because I'm in Yorkdale a little bit.
It's an
I think that will be a good time.
Guys, 17,000 incoming. We could get a market rejection here. Let's see, did we make a higher high above this print, 16,992? Yes, we are above that level. So marginally, it could still reject off here. Keep your eye on 17,000. A bit of a double bottom brewing here. It doesn't mean that it's going to mean anything, right? Just because a double bottom shape took place doesn't mean it's actually going to be a bullish reversal pattern, but it has all the earmarks, a big downtrend and then a double bottom because we know the double tops and the double bottoms are reversal patterns. So let's see how long it runs for. 17,000 first level. Then I'm looking at VWAP. Second level, VWAP on my charts around that 17.0 and a third. So if we get above 17,000, we'll keep an eye on that. But yeah, lots of resistance with which to contend, sadly, here on this day. It is time, though, Era, for me to bid adieu.
Adieu.
And I will be taking off, doing some skiing or boarding, whoever knows. I'm going to decide last
You're going
minute.
to have to tell us when you get back here, yeah.
Hopefully I won't come back in a cast, like having run into a tree and everything. But
yeah, don't have my experience where you have to get like wheeled off the thing. Yeah, don't do that. You got this.
Thank you.
And we have a
Appreciate
lovely new year. And
Yeah,
we will see
likewise.
you
And
on
enjoy your
Tuesday.
birthday.
Thank you. I'm
Yes,
excited.
I
Yeah.
will. All right, guys. See you in a bit. Obi's coming on.
Au revoir. Yeah, we will soon have Mr. Amazon himself. Not much of a nickname there. Yeah, I said Bezos for me saying, yeah, no, should not have said that. But yeah, Obi will be coming. For now, still looking at Tesla, as always. Tesla continuing to find a little bit of support here around this 248 area, I have to say. But we briefly did go a little bit lower than that. Now we're looking like we're trying to go back below 220. 248, and you should stop narrating Tesla. I sound like a news commentator or a sports commentator. But yeah, Tesla, certainly this Model Y is becoming, why are you doing this, Tesla? We're going to have to see what occurs. Down 2% in the day. I'm going to let this one sit for now. Renata asking me to look at you. So let's see what kind of unity we get in Unity's charts over here. I like that sound.
It's from Chappelle Show, Rick James.
Oh, okay. I don't know that one. I know Chappelle, but I don't know the Chappelle Show that well. Yeah, Unity here. Yeah, Unity is interesting, Renata, I have to say. Because look, we came into that area. I would say we're seeing a little bit of maybe resistance coming support at this 40.61 area. This is where we kind of had one of the big dips to the downside here earlier. Now we're coming back slightly higher high though. And I have to say, we had a bit of a flat bottom support area at 40.20. It's kind of similar to what we're seeing on the IWM actually. And speaking of the IWM, let me look at IWM one more time. Always singing over here. But yeah, I forgot about that song. It's been a while since that song existed. But yeah, but we did reject off this 201.80. So I'm, because I said 201.80 might be interesting because that was where we had that big quadunk earlier. Could we have resistance forming support? We did reject off that 201.80, but we haven't made a new low yet. I'm going to keep my eyes peeled. I'm going to keep myself apprised of what is going on here. But yeah, I do enjoy the look of IWM still, although us falling like 40 cents in this one candle is not a great look. And then we just had that giant dark pool wick. Roger in the chat here, if I do this job, I would do it like a sportscaster too. I mean, sometimes it's Happy New Year's, Sharif. But yeah, so I think it's really easy to kind of, I guess, sometimes just see these stocks and be like, chatting about them, narrating what's happening. But yeah. Oh, thank you, Darren Hilton, for the happy birthday wishes. Not quite yet, but here you are. Also,
Happy birthday, is it?
Not today, no, it's January. Yeah, Sharif was hyping everybody up for it. January 1st, so not quite yet. Yeah, a couple of days. But yeah, CompSRX saying, please accept my wishes to a happy new year, tagging everybody here. Let's make 2024 better than 2023. Thank you so much for that, CompSRX, always a fabulous participator in the chat. Thank you, everybody in the chat, always for keeping us on our toes. And thank you for the birthday wishes over here, even though, yeah, not quite yet. Much appreciated here. NVIDIA is interesting. Also, I just wrote NVIDIA, so that's how you know it's a Friday. NVIDIA with an N. Let's look at NVIDIA here. Ooh. Yes, okay, I like this. So I pulled this up because I noticed that we did have that decisive candle break, a couple decisive candle breaks above that 491 area, which certainly was a bit of an area of interest for NVIDIA earlier. We broke a higher high. What will NVIDIA do at 492? I'm interested in 492, but I may be more interested in 492.60, 492.70. Why? Because that was honestly one of the last decisive green candles we had before that big move to the downside. So that will be an area of interest for me for that NVIDIA move over here. I want to keep my eyes peeled. I don't want to act too hastily. Also, Microsoft. Microsoft is just cleaning everybody's clocks here. This move on Microsoft is wild. So as Sharif called, that double bottom definitely came into fruition. Like we're saying, not every pattern that we see is going to manifest in the way you think it's going to. Microsoft absolutely manifesting this double bottom. Holy cow. Holy guacamole, whatever you want to say here. But yeah, I think too with Microsoft, for myself, I'm going to keep an eye on what we do at 375.80. And I say that because that was, again, where we fell off earlier. These aren't always going to be areas of support and resistance. And what I like, too, about charting in areas of support and resistance is that people are going to have different areas of support or resistance that they find interesting. Do you know what I mean? For myself, for this Microsoft, though, I do like the look of this 375.80. So I'm going to have to see what we do here. Microsoft incredibly strong though. Felicitations to everybody who's in that long off of this this double bottom, because that is a beautiful look. Also, Corey 2S, thank you so much for the 149 super chat. A piece of cake here, much appreciated. Yeah, Ryan was saying as well, what a birthday date. Yeah, it's kind of a funny day there. Fabulous times here in the chat. Abel saying target out for NVIDIA is 492.50. And yeah, I would say solid look, especially because that's where I kind of said 492.50, 492.60, definitely that area we saw a little bit of a pullback, a giant pullback here on N to the V to the D to the A. So I think this will be a a really interesting look here. Deboned Butter, I really like that name, in the chat saying, what's the deal with Mara? I mean, Mara, I think we mentioned there's a couple different catalysts going on with these crypto names with regards to the miners, and that was like 129 million. I'm going to pull up this exact story here. Yeah, so Bitcoin miners offloading 129 million in Bitcoin in a day. So the reserves for the miners are at the lowest point since May. It's really significant. Some crypto analysts basically saying in response to that what is happening here is that some of these crypto miners may sense a little bit of overbuying. And that's why there's a little bit of selling happening here. Maybe we're, selling is the mood maybe for crypto. That's the story on that one. But yeah, Mara, someone saying in the chat, Ron Miller, 23 Mara, maybe a level. Yeah, I mean, we definitely did stack up around just before that 23 area, I have to say. But look at the daily. I think Mara, at least from my analysis of Mara, if I remember correctly, the last big kind of level to the downside on this Mara was this kind of, I need to zoom out further to get a better sense of this. Yeah, so this 1920 area to me was kind of interesting on Mara. But before that point, I would concur that 23 is interesting. Also 22 kind of interesting too, because that was where we had that one red candle to the downside. Because in recent days, I mean, this is on the daily chart, right? We had so much strength. So I think this is certainly an interesting look. Yeah, these last two daily candles on Mara though, holy cannoli. What a move to the downside, especially after so much strength. But yeah, I think 23 interesting. Also this 2250, this one red candle we had on December 20th would be of interest. Kevy saying, have you looked at your friend Lulu? I have not as of late. So let's see if Lulu stretch into the upside or stretch into the downside here. Stretchy pants, yeah. What kind of yoga pants is Lulu outfitting today? You know what? Thank you for mentioning this to me, Kevy. I like this. The only thing that makes me a skosh skeptical about Lulu, much like Netflix and Eli Lilly, I cannot get into these if the volume is below 1 million. Because I tried doing that with Lilly once. I got in below 1 milli, and Lilly made me regret it. So I'm going to be careful here. That being said, I do like this higher high. If the volume picks up on Lulu, if the yoga moms keep running in with the stretchy pants here, keep stretching to the upside. I like the look of Lulu. We're up on the day. We had quite the recovery around this 508 area. Let's look at the daily on Lulu as well, because this has been a strong one. Oh, my chart just crashed. Technical difficulties, stand by. P-Pro8 does not like me looking at the daily charts. This is the second time today
I'm having some troubles as well, but I'll be on soon enough.
Take your time. Just let me know. Yeah, I will continue to
redo some of these windows.
Yeah, it's always getting the window set up is always a moment. But yeah, hello, OB. OB saying hi to the people.
Setting up. I'll be on soon.
Yeah, he's getting all ready. Take your. I know that the system's
moving. Like I'm already have
that's hard.
Like an account open there, and then I haven't been on this computer in a while, so I'm trying to log into TMS.
Yeah.
Right? So because the live account's open there, I can't be logging into 2 different live accounts. But I'm just gonna hop into TMS. We're just gonna talk about what's happening, what the trades might have been, and maybe we can review some trades as well. But I will be soon set up.
Yes, he will be ready post haste. But for now, Bears versus Bulls, Adobe live back together again. Yeah, people enjoyed that putt. It's a pretty funny putt, especially with regards to stocks, right? So, because let's look at ADBE for no reason other than I enjoyed that pun. But
Adobe's been doing nice.
Yeah, it's been doing well. Adobe had this gorgeous double bottom, much like Microsoft, except instead of Microsoft, we're still kind of waiting to see that 375.8 test. We actually did test the level that Adobe cringed off of here. For this 596.76 here, we broke above it. So Adobe actually looking really strong, much like Lululemon, much like Netflix and Lilly. It is one of those ones that sometimes, because it's not necessarily seen as a day trading stock, these are all ones with much higher values. So Adobe here below 1 million on the day, but if we do pick up volume here, I do not dislike the look of Adobe at all. I like this look. I want to look at Netflix. I saw some mentions of Netflix earlier in the chat, and then I'll look at Tesla. Lots of mentions of Tesla here. But yeah, Netflix. Ooh, okay, Netflix has above $1 million volume. I just sat up for that. Gotta go keep my eye out. Gotta keep apprised of this here. So yeah, Netflix doing what a lot of these other names did. We had this move steadily to the downside. Then we had a bit of a double bottom, and we made a higher high. We broke above this 485 high. I usually get more involved with Netflix if I see a range, and quite obviously I would say there's a bit less of a range here in Netflix intraday, because it's just kind of more this move, the steady stutter step, or step ladder movement to the upside. We did break above this 485.30 area, so I am intrigued. I'm gonna pull this bad boy up on my side chart. I do like the look of this. So Tesla, let's see, do we mess low with Tesla? We'll have to find out.
That 250 is right there.
Yeah, that too, yeah, it is, it's dancing with 250. This, to me, I find like the big level for me intraday, at least for Tesla, that I've been jumping around with, is this 249.50, because I feel like that's where Netflix kind of keeps rejecting. I took a couple shorts off that area. If we see another 249.50 rejection, maybe I'll do another short. But yeah, I don't want to make any quick decisions on Tesla, because Tesla will drive where it wants to drive, and Tesla makes its own decisions, and you just have to respond to it here. But yeah, Elon in the chat, hi Adara, bad boys in the market trying to spook people out earlier. Yeah, I mean, this has been a wild one actually. I wasn't sure what to expect with like a Friday, a holiday, not a holiday Friday, but I guess a holiday week heading into the new year, last trading day of the year. Definitely the markets are giving you something to be excited about, right? They're saying don't pop the champagne just yet. Wait and see what we have to offer. And yeah, I mean, lots of opportunities for different stuff in the market. I think one opportunity I might take advantage of for a third time, I just did 2 fingers, but I meant 3, for a third time today, might be this Tesla short off this 249.50, should it come into play. Tony Price asking about SoFi. So let's see, is SoFi so fine? We'll have to find out. Ooh, okay, hi SoFi. Yeah, SoFi is really interesting. This is one where we did have a rejection off of an area that we rejected off previous, right? I worded that really poorly. But around that $10 area, I heard Neil talking about the $10 area earlier as well. When I say earlier, I mean yesterday, I think, on SoFi. So SoFi and $10, interesting area. We were continuing to fall to the downside, but we definitely did have a rejection here, made a lower low here at around 1040 when the rest of the market was making that movement down, spiraling to the downside. Then we kind of came back into that around that $10 area, that 998, and we rejected again. Now we're making a third attempt at that 998, $10 area. So we'll have to see what we do here. I also want to look at the daily on SoFi, because yeah, a lot of these payment names have been really interesting. Affirm up. That was actually, I was seeing this in a CNBC article. Affirm actually having the strongest gains. Second place was Coinbase of the tech companies. It was up like 400+%. Second, a strongest gain for a firm of tech companies with a market cap of $5 billion or higher. So interesting, very specific stat, but kind of an interesting one. And that's on the year, of course. Yeah, SoFi, definitely an interesting one. Are you all set up?
Yeah, I think I got most of the setup there, okay, ready to go. I pulled up the chat as well, so we are ready to ready to talk, ready to kind of look at what's been happening in this market, ready to realize that the reversion on Amazon came in, and I wasn't necessarily at the desk. 151 bounce kind of was there, and I was like, okay, I'm going to stay patient. I'll wait for the reversion to potentially show itself. 151, I have it down as like a key multi-time frame level as well. Missed that one, and it gives you a nice pop. Again, reversion of the NQ as well. I was like, I'm going to play it off of structure, but again, I missed the trade and not really there, not paying attention. That is my fault. But I'm asking myself, what is the next trade here as Amazon and some of these other tickers kind of revert back to the upside? We've done but a 50% reversion of the strong quadrunk that we had earlier. So we're pretty much wiping back about half of that move. And again, 17,000 staying quite an interesting price, and just watching it again. Like I said, I'm just a student. I'm still learning a lot of different things here, and this interaction of this 17,000 over the past couple of weeks has definitely been very, very interesting. Alongside that, I'm watching Tesla here as well. But yeah, I want to take a look in the chat here. We only have about like 45 minutes left for the midday. So let me know what you guys have been trading today. We can take a quick look. We can review some trades. What have you made any trades today?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty pleased with these Tesla shorts. So I would kind of I can chat about those if I can find my chart's been doing things. Nice. But yeah, so I had these two shorts off of this 249.50 area because I noticed I've been doing this thing lately. I've been calling it scalpulating, where it's like I'm scalping, but I'm also trying to calculate and do tape reading and kind of see based on that where I'm seeing levels. So I did see, I guess it's just like a fancy way of just saying trading, but yeah, I got in off this this short off this 249.60 because I was seeing we did have a little bit of so kind of an interesting area we're chopping and turning around. So I got in that for a short. I took it, I got out around this 249 area because I like usually taking some profit out of my shorts when I see us test the previous low, right? Because I'm like, at least I know I'm more confident we can make that. And then sometimes I'll hold the piece for the dream. In this case, I didn't. Then I got back in. This one I probably entered a little bit late, but I got in back around this 249 because I was noticing these kind of failed wicks to the upside here at this 249.50. I like this look. I got in for the short here. Got out my first piece of profits at 248.50. I plan on getting the rest out at 248 even. But then I was noticing we were seeing this 248 area, 248.40 area, sorry, a bit of support, so I took everything out there. I'm watching for another bite at the apple here at this 249.60, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I think Tesla might be ready for a move to the upside. I don't want to, preempt it. I also was in a Microsoft.
I like that. Let's before we go to the Microsoft, I just want to talk about that. Yeah. Both of those entries, I think are pretty solid there. You're getting in on the right side of the move, right? Yeah. You shorted this pop right here, and then this pop again at those same prices underneath the 250. So not only, I think that's a solid idea, shorting underneath 250 when it can't get there on the right side of the V when that pop kind of starts to slow down and you're seeing those selling, seeing those wicks, and you can see how clean those trades were. You didn't have to take a lot of heat on those trades because you're on the right side of the V, you were with the trend, you were with the momentum, and even though we were kind of bouncing up, you observed that there's sellers underneath 250. That's solid. Good trades.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What's the next one?
The Microsoft, this is I only did the 3 trades today. It's not been much. I've just been keeping my eyes open for opportunities. But yeah, Microsoft, I like the idea of the short because I was noticing we had a little bit of struggles at this 374.20. I was noticing some sellers overwhelming. Tried to get short here. Alas, it didn't work out. I said basically I kind of want to get around. I should have had probably a more solid stop area too. I just kind of got out when I got nervous when I was watching the tape. So it's probably my first failure here. It did end up getting a bit shorter. The plan was to take profit at the 373.6 area, so it would have worked out had I stayed in. But yeah, I just saw this move up and I was like, got to stay out. So I think the issue here was just timing and just not having a clear plan. But yeah, not bad. Microsoft though, failing off of this 375.80 area. So I think this is an interesting look. We couldn't make that higher high. But yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, again, this one not so much on the right side. Yeah. But I think you put it well. You didn't have a clear plan going into it, but you did for the Tesla.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're right.
There's a big difference there.
Yeah.
There's a big difference there in terms of like what the planning was going into the trade and how the execution kind of carried out. Like, the previous trade was very, very clean, but here you can't. Well, I don't want to say it's not clean, but you get stopped out like right away.
Yeah.
Right? So and it's not necessarily on the right side of the move as well. So yeah, having a plan can definitely steer you in the right direction. Now, trading both Tesla and Softy, right? They're both relatively similar price, give or take 100 points. How do you feel like the difference between, like, I know you've been learning how to read the tape and observing these tickers a lot more. How do you feel the differences in between two similarly priced tickers? Again, 375 for Softy and then Tesla in and around that 250. So give or take 100 points, but still well within that same kind of price range area in terms of like stops and in terms of like choppiness of the ticker. Like what's your take on that?
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that's a really good question. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I think I find of the mega caps, I'm mostly in Tesla and Nvidia. Microsoft I'll trade occasionally, but I think too what I've noticed with Tesla and Nvidia, they're both very like, they'll move very quickly, right? So you kind of have to keep your eye on that. And so that's why I noticed with Microsoft as well too, though, right? Because you're right, they're all kind of similar in terms of price, although Nvidia's a little bit higher. I think, sometimes there'll be a little bit of a spread. And a lot of times it's like when you see kind of a slowdown here, when you see a bit of a pullback, it's usually pretty clear because they do run up really quickly when they run up. You know what I mean? So I don't know if that's really an answer to your question, but I think like I've noticed they do definitely, you're right, they move very similarly. And they do, I find especially noticing the tape.
Yeah, do you notice like, do you feel like Tesla tape, again, Tesla trades some of the most volume in the market.
Oh yeah.
A lot of the days. Softy, not so much. right?
Yeah.
But do you notice like the aggressiveness in the tape, the difference in aggressiveness? That's what I'm
a good
asking.
point.
Like,
Yeah.
because I don't really take a look at softy tape as often, but I do. Shout out to Max. I see Tesla tape a lot. He sits right beside
It's
me.
always in your
so
vicinity.
I have a little bit of a taste of how Tesla can move. Vicariously through Max, of course, but yeah, no. So
Yeah.
I do notice that Tesla sometimes is a little bit more volatile, but like I haven't really observed softy tape as much. So I'm just curious to know what your take on that might have been. But yeah, no, relatively similar is what you're saying.
No, but I will say too, I think that's a good point. I appreciate you saying that. And I kind of missed that question the first time in terms of how I answered it. But what I find with Tesla is I find because it's so volatile, when there's an area of resistance, I find it to be very clear. So if I go, I guess that's my answer on that. I mean, that's always not always going to be the case, right? But with Tesla, I was noticing, and why I felt comfortable staying in when I got back in this 249 for the second short. 249 was holding. Like we would kind of go wick up or down, but we would hold at the tape. And that's something I would not have noticed, or if I was only looking at the chart, right? So that's why I find looking at the tape to be really key, at least as I'm trying to kind of refine my trading here in the sim and get a better sense of what I'm doing, because I find Tesla, specifically Tesla tape, because Tesla's probably one of the stocks I trade the most. I find that resistance and support become so clear because of like what you said with Tesla having these wild movements. So when it likes a level, or when it's finding a level interesting, you'll really notice it'll kind of stick to it like glue, or it'll keep coming back to it. And that's why I felt emboldened to stay in that Tesla 249, because I liked the area to begin with, but then when I kept seeing, we kept coming back to it, I was like,
You saw the confluence.
I saw the confluence.
Nice. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, nice.
Also,
I like
shout
that.
out to Bears versus Bulls in the chat here. Obi-Wan and Adara the pun. I just enjoyed that, so why not over here? What have you been trading? What have your trades been today?
What did I trade? The tickers were, I think, AMD and Amazon. We can talk about the Amazon trade that I had a little bit. I did explain myself earlier, but we can go through it again now. I'm logged into my the trading simulator mode here, TMS. So the trades won't show up here, but I'll show you guys once again when I hop back on to the main show with Sean for the closing show, right? But I had the 153 kind of marked, and you can see the distinctive behavior exactly right away. I hear Adara saying that's a level, yeah. So it's very clear on the chart that over the past what is this? When has this been happening? You can call it like Thursday, but last Wednesday, or was it 2 Wednesdays ago? Last Wednesday, we got that strong quadunk in the market. End of day, strong sell-off, very, very aggressive, and we held 52s, but coming in the next day, I was like, all right, 52 is being bid up, and I just stayed observing what are we gonna do after the strong sell-off. All we did was consolidate for 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row, holding 153s as a little bit of a support. Sure, give or take a few pennies, it drops down to the 70s here. I keep note of that. It drops down to the 70s again today, or 60s off the open. I keep note of that. But the level here, it's kind of clear that like every time it did kind of come into the 153s, it's getting bid up. It's in a bit of a range. 154, like sellers were aggressive here that day, last Wednesday, 155, but we're in a bit of a tight range between 154 and 153. So the idea is simple. The idea is coming in today, again, it's got to be a confluence, right? Confluence obviously matters. I can't just be like, oh, that's a level I'm going to get long, but it's a strong level because we've been holding it for 4 days straight. Yeah. I guess 5th time's a charm. I guess maybe, I don't know. Off the open it was, but it dips into the week low right there, or previous week low Friday. It dips right there. I get long 153s, and I'm just looking for 154. Right? Yeah. I think 154 is a great place to sell. 153 has shown itself to be a great place to buy. Now that's only with the limited information for the past 4 days, because that's all it's been doing. So coming in today, I just want to do more of the same. If the ticker, doesn't have to be in play. It's not doing ARVL, but if this behavior is repetitive over and over again, I want to look for the 153 long if it's going to show it to me, right? Yeah. So it dips down, it reclaims VWAP confluence with 153.
Yeah.
Confluence with weekly lows.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you see the levels stack up, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm willing to put on some risk because the idea is working out, and I have sells sitting at that 154. It doesn't get all the way there. That's perfectly fine. I noticed that it breaks trend. I piece off of most of that trade, but yeah, it gives it to you a little bit again. But that 153, when it does break, take a look at that. That shelf over the past 4 days, the break of that 153, you pop back in, you test that, and then you flush down to the previous support level at 151.
Yeah.
So it's like,
wild.
sure, it's not necessarily in play, but there's technical, I don't know what to call it, like technical catalyst, but it's not really like a significant catalyst, but it has like a behavior that it's been following.
Yeah.
And I just want to take a piece off of that behavior. And that was the idea around the Amazon trade this morning. Now, it's not going to have the same kind of trade every day, but different setups, different days. Sometimes it's a beta trade, sometimes it's a technical trade, sometimes it's a failure to follow through. It's whatever. It can be like a whole plethora of different things, but definitely it moves, and it moves in a peculiar action, so I tried to take a piece off. Long-winded explanation, but bid Amazon was 153 was the idea today.
No, that's a good look. And I mean, it makes sense with levels, and I like how clearly planned out it was as well. Like you had your levels, you were watching your levels, and you got
I'm trying to get better with that, because like I found that like if I'm not patient, and I'm not, like I have my sticky notes over there, but if I'm not patient for the levels that I planned, and I don't even wait for them, not even wait for them in the sense of like, oh, if 153 was a level, I just have an order posted there. I can initiate the position with that, but like, am I really waiting for confluence to show up? Am I being patient to see, do I have market tailwind on my side, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, I've found that just doing that has been helping me a lot more.
That's good.
To get better trades. Sure, I miss trades every now and then, but shout out to Neil, he's been saying this a few times now, and it's really been sticking. You have to miss the trade to make the trade. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, I'm missing a few trades, but when it does set up and I have all these confluencing factors on my side, I'm like, okay, that's strong probability. I want to put risk on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I like that. That was the idea.
To make the trade. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's been sticking with me a lot, and I've gotten a lot of value with that. And again, I think it was a trader who was previously on the floor who kind of said that, and that pretty much stuck. So it's like passed down wisdom.
Oh, yeah, it's like inherited wisdom.
Yeah, over the years there. But the other trade I had was AMD. Now AMD kind of running up every day, very strong trend on the multi-day there. And again, AMD in play for sure. It's coming into the 150. We saw what it did with the 150 for the first test yesterday. And I'm like, okay, well, if it holds that 150 today, I'm getting long above these highs. I'm getting long on a consolidation hold above some of these highs. Just looking for continuation, right? Because like it's kind of similar to the Amazon, where it's like if a ticker is doing the same behavior day after day and holding previous day's levels, sure, it can get a little choppy, it can get a little messy. You get better at picking your levels. That's a whole different story. But every day, this thing's catching a bid and trending up at least over the past since last Thursday, right? You got that strong flush on Wednesday. Since last Thursday, we've only been catching a bid, higher highs and higher lows. So coming in today, I'm just looking for more of the same. Did we get that? Not really. So the trade was 150 long into 151, and so I think I did get in long initially on the break of this previous high. Bought some more when we dip into 149s and 150s, again above the halves, and I attempt to take it into 151, but that doesn't really come in. 151 sellers keep on coming in, and I think you mentioned a good point there. Similar to kind of Tesla, when a level really shows itself, you want to respect it. If it's real, if it's holding, no matter what, it's not breaking, and that's kind of what happened. I was like, okay, I'm risking off of a VWAP hold. VWAP hold was pretty strong, very, very distinct wick lick grabs of the VWAP, and I was like, that's confirming the idea for the long. But every time we pop into this 151, you can't even bid in the 90s.
That's crazy. No, that's in a
it
very
just gets
clear
slapped
area.
down every time. So the third time around, I was like, well, if it's going to do it for the third time, and at the same time the markets are doing this, I just want to get out of the long idea. And when you break VWAP, I definitely don't want to be around, because that's a distinct change in behavior, confluence with a distinct change in behavior of the market. So it's like clearly great reasons to sell when that happened and through that 150. But you know what, I didn't really stick. I got out of my longs. I didn't flip to the short.
That's fair.
That's a summary of kind of the trades that I had in the morning. I'm still looking for the next trade. We missed kind of the bottoms there, especially on Amazon 151. I did have this as a multi-time frame level, and it becomes in play when and if we're in this range, like a technical range of a key level, right? So missed that trade a little bit, but as of right now, what the chart is printing is we've made some highs. We kind of double topped here, roughly. Price couldn't get past this 154. We know that 154 has had sellers since last Thursday. And finally, when we do break the range, we're holding underneath VWAP.
Yeah.
So that's the limited information the chart is providing. So I'm potentially looking for a short, risking off of VWAP or some of these previous structures to take it down. But again, market's gotta do the confluence dance. We've got to have some stacks, right? You got to have some stacking of confluence, and then we can potentially be like, okay, this idea has a strong enough probability, in my opinion. Again, my opinion being, who knows? I'm just a trainee, but higher probability relative to what I'm seeing before that I want to actually put risk on at this level. So that's what I'll be looking for here. But yeah, let's see. What are you guys trading in the chat? I don't know. Are you looking for any other trades there? I see you have Nvidia up.
I mean, I'm like Nvidia. I'm almost looking at Nvidia, man. But I have to say, I really do like the look of Nvidia here. Like I said, my area I was saying earlier was first, if we break that 41. What am I saying? 491.40. Nvidia and 41 should not be in the same sentence unless it's like a penny level. And then we broke above that 492.50 pretty cleanly. Now my thing is too is I just want to kind of wait for a dip buy. I don't want to get involved in this too early, right? Like I like to get involved in trades if I see areas for myself to set up stops and profit takers. And I don't want to like force myself into a trade here, but I do like the look of Nvidia in the long. If there's another dip buy opportunity like what we had this candle around 120, I will definitely take advantage. There was also someone in the chat, Anish Patel, mentioning Boeing. So let's look at Boeing. Boeing had that negative catalyst yesterday where I'm going to pull up the exact wording of this headline, but it was something regarding a bolt in one of the aircrafts, I believe the 737, let me wait for Benzinga to pull this up for me. But yeah, I mean, Boeing definitely on the day. I think we ended up recovering a bit yesterday, but I know there was a lot of pullback yesterday. Zoom. Yeah, so we still ended up negative on the day, but as you can see, we definitely had a wick to the downside. Okay, yeah, so catalyst today. Chinese airlines resume operations of all Boeing 737 MAX checks ending their grounding. So that's a positive catalyst. That's been the ongoing Boeing China catalyst. But then yesterday, Boeing had announced that the 737 MAX planes, there was an issue monitoring and inspection. There was an issue with a loose component was discovered, and the planes can still be delivered and the deliveries can continue, but that was just something with Boeing. And I mean, Sharif and I have been talking about this the last couple of days, pulling up Boeing. This consolidation area of this 260 to 265 on the daily chart has been wicked on Boeing. This is wild. I mean, like we flew to the upside, pun always intended, here, and then we kind of petered off a little bit. Like it'll be interesting to kind of see if we can break out of this 260, 265 level. Let me zoom out even further. I mean, yeah, Boeing is definitely a really good look, though, after we kind of plunged to this low here. October 26th, so I guess around when the rest of the market did its November to remember. Shout out to Sharif there. We definitely pulled back. I think what we do, breaking out of this consolidation is going to be interesting. The general trend is definitely to the high side, though, with this great upward trend over the past couple months. We'll have to see. Like South Tiger saying Boeing will pull back. Yeah, I mean, we haven't really pulled down much either, right? We're still, I would say, consolidating. So I would agree. I would concur there. Again, not advice, just, my look at the charts. But on the daily, back to the daily on Boeing, we had, some wicked giant candle movements here in the morning. Then around 10:30, we pulled back kind of with the rest of the market. But what's interesting is we had this bottom around where we had the consolidation earlier, this 259.80. It really respected that almost 260 area. Now we've been seeing higher highs, higher lows. Looks like a recovery to the upside. I would be keeping an eye on that 262 level just because that was where we rejected off in the morning. That is that's my look on this. I'm
just looking at some of these volume leaders on the day, and I'm reading the chat as well. I noticed Compass RX. You changed your display picture, man. What's going on?
I noticed that too. Yeah.
It was green. Now it's blue. What's the story behind that? I'm curious to know there. But yeah, no, I'm just looking at some of these tickers doing the most volume here, and lo and behold, the top name on the exchanges today, volume gainers, is Mara. And again, Bitcoin kind of, let's take a quick look at Bitcoin before we take a look at Mara as well. But yeah, no, let me know if you guys are trading or if you guys have traded anything on Mara today. Bitcoin definitely catching a little bit of volume and a little bit of a move there. I don't know, is this coinciding with the market flush? Yes, it is. 10 o'clock is when that sell came in, and we just blast right down through 43,000 on the Bitcoin, and we're doing a little bit of a bounce off of this 41.6. Okay, so let's see if that's kind of a level. Okay, so the previous strong dip was in and around this level here last Tuesday.
Yeah.
Right, and some more over here as well. So there's definitely a little bit of buying in around this area. I was talking about how this initial quadunk that happened on Sunday, December 10th, was bought up, and every single dip after that, regardless of how aggressive has been a higher low relative to this consolidation low here. And if you want to go further back, we have been making higher lows and higher highs with a little bit of a sideways consolidation underneath 45. But yeah, it's almost as if Bitcoin is potentially winding up with these lower highs into the 45. But what do I know? But the fact of the matter is we are flushing along with the markets here on Bitcoin, and that sentiment is being reflected a little bit here on some of these tickers, with Mara doing some of the most volume in the markets today. So a very strong flush of yesterday's kind of level right here. That 28 came in real hot. You can see the day before, Wednesday, nice bid there. Attempt to hold the bid on Thursday, but when that price kind of breaks, the bid isn't really there, and that resistance turned support, turned I guess a weakness when we blast right back through it, and we're coming back into a previous support level here at 23. So let's see if we can get a reversion back into VWAP there. But yeah, it's sold off pretty aggressively on the day. Again, I got to keep an eye out on Bitcoin to really play the sympathy on a name like this. But 250 breaking on Tesla. That 250 kind of, I guess that selling stepped out of the way. We're pushing up into VWAP. What is the market doing? Market's holding 17,000. So that's definitely a good look for longs, if any longs got in on this double bottom, kind of a base. Again, not just only on Tesla. A lot of things are probably reverting right now with the market looking like that. But NEO, kind of in play as well on a lot of people's radars over the past few days, few weeks. And again, fresh catalyst with that new SUV.
Oh yeah,
right?
that's a good looking car too.
Yeah, you know what? I haven't really seen a picture of it. So
the ET9.
Yeah, have you seen? Okay, so while you pull that up,
I've been going on about the ET9, and I don't even drive.
I'm curious to know how it looks there. That does not look that bad. That's actually pretty nice, huh?
Look at these seats. This is what I like.
Okay.
These seats.
It's like a very meshy. It's like a mesh.
Yeah, and it's like you got the privacy partitions, you know? I'm not gonna lie, I don't dislike it. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. Continue.
Oh yeah, in play for a very, very valid reason. They have a new product. And we saw some moves off of that earlier this week. But taking a look at this, we're pretty much in a range. We wiped that kind of the pop we had off the news, and we're holding this $9 level. Again, a bit of a resistance turned to potential support here this week. The $9 level on NEO. So I think that's a good look. AMD we've already been watching. That 147.5 roughly is the base right now. Something to note. While the market quadunks underneath that 17,000, AMD sold off that 150, but we could not break below yesterday's low, right? Yesterday, very strong action off the open, strong buying off of what is this low price, 146. So buying continuation, whatever you want to call it, strong above previous day's high, and then holding that 146 as well. Coming in today, little bit of a change in behavior for sure, as we don't really have that follow through, that drive, and sellers come in pretty strong off that 151. But we're getting that reversion back now into 149. So I'm curious to know rest of the market. Like, we only have about what 2 hours and 20 minutes roughly, give or take, left. More than enough time for the market to kind of rip right back up, and we get that V shape. And it was funny. Somebody in the chat earlier today, they were like, Santa came in with the red bags. He dropped the red bags, and I was like, yeah, definitely. He came in with some red bags. But we could see that nice little green reversion to the upside as well, potentially. With 3 hours left, we got a lot of time to print a lot of prices to kind of come into a lot of different kinds of price action. But that 17 reclaim is definitely interesting to me. Boris saying he's up over 100% on his Tesla 250 calls. Ooh. That's awesome, dude. Congrats. Tesla printing 251, so you're getting that dollar premium on top of the 250.
Tesla breaking above VWAP here, actually, too. Not that VWAP, I think one of the big things that Sharif and I kind of talked about, too, during the How to Trade session that I think was good for me to know is, like, VWAP's not always going to be level, right? It really depends on what the stock is doing. But Tesla earlier, like, kind of in pre-market when we started opening, really hugging VWAP. It was really very much continuing to reject off of VWAP. And then we honestly almost kind of fell off of VWAP, too, at 10:30 when everything went to the downside. So I think this break above VWAP will definitely be an interesting one to keep an eye on. Looks like we're having a little bit of trouble now here too, but we're gonna have to wait and see on that. I am still looking at Netflix because we got above 1 million, and I do like this kind of move to the upside here. We did make a higher high, but we're kind of stuttering amongst around this area of this 285.20, which I would argue is that area we kind of had that big rejection off earlier. Not the first rejection, but definitely I think the last major one. So I think I would consider it to be an area of interest for myself intraday, this 485.20. If we can decisively reclaim that, I'm probably interested in the long here. And then if we make a lower low, I'm outie. That would be my take on that. I do, like I said, I kind of prefer the ranges though, just because I'm more comfortable setting my stops and my outs. Like, I think my parameters are a bit clearer for myself, the trading style I do if we're in ranges. But the hard thing is we're not really ranging today. Like, you know, like Obi said, we keep running and like very high, very low all over in this market. So it's a little bit harder to find clear range opportunities. IWM, which
it's been pretty directional.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I think, which is like, I think really nice for these big moves. I mean, congrats to Boris, congrats to everybody printing in the chat. But it's, I think, a little bit, you know, you have to know what kind of style of trader you are. And I think, you know, I'm obviously still very new, but I think my style of trading is this rangier style. And so it's just hard when I don't think there are a lot of opportunities for that for me right now. IWM, though, continuing to reject off this 201.80 in a way that I find interesting. Because we had that was where we fell off earlier, then we came back, 201.80, swoop, back to 201.80. I want to see what we do here. Because like I said, I'm definitely not opposed to a long on IWM. We have that rounded bottom here. Someone mentioned this in the chat, I forget who, but I really like the look of IWM, the Russell 2000. Yeah, I think we can, you know, hustle Russell a little bit here if we see that move to the upside. I think this break of decisively out of this 201.80, 201.40 range would be of interest to me, just to get, you know, a couple cents of profit up in here. Yeah, what else?
That's the mid cap ETF. Right?
That's small cap. I think, yeah, 2000. Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, not a bad.
Solid move there. Again, that 10 o'clock flush seems to have come in everywhere there. And yeah, I'm just looking at again. I haven't looked at the VIX. I guess on the show. I look at it every day, but I haven't looked at the VIX on the show in a while. But just taking a quick scope of what the VIX has been up to. Yeah, just dancing around. It's pretty low VIX. We're underneath 15. We're in the 12s. So yeah, I think you have those odd times of like very directional and strong moves. But I don't think with volatility kind of being this low, you can kind of expect the moon on a lot of things, right?
I like that.
You get that. You occasionally get these strong flushes and moves, but in terms of like a chop and churn, you can see that a lot of things have been consolidative. They've been kind of within certain prices. We talk about the Amazon 154, 153. We talk about Nvidia kind of bouncing. Sure, it has a 100-point range, but a range nonetheless between 500 and 400.
That's true.
Right. So it's like with a low VIX, how much can you really expect? if you're looking at Nvidia, you can expect quite a lot if you're looking for a 100-point move for the swing scalp for the ranges. But some of these other names, I don't think not as much, not as juicy as some of the moves get when we're trading a VIX above 20. That's for sure. But yeah, just a reminder that VIX is in the 12s, and yeah, you can get some nice moves every now and then. But I think expecting too much is something I'm trying to keep myself from doing in this kind of market environment, right?
That's
so
fair.
low volatility. Don't expect too much. I think that's pretty fair there. But yeah, I find myself kind of shooting myself in the foot if I am expecting like a lot. Like for example, like I was expecting 154 to come in on Amazon today. Few pennies away, sure. I wouldn't really give it to. That's because the VIX is at its low. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying just that's an example of me expecting a little more than what I'm actually being given, and I think it's something to say that like you got to stay as nimble as possible, and that's what I'm trying to work on as well here. Yeah, people talk about Neo still. SPY, yeah, no, SPY did an interesting action there. So the Quadunk, the strong flush, came in. Again, you can say who came first, the chicken or the egg, but this consolidation break versus the selling, both of it kind of confluenced and came in on the range low break of yesterday's very tight consolidative action. And not only did you get that, you got previous day that was pretty rangy as well, and we broke below that range as well. So you got a little bit of a double whammy to the downside, breaking 2 range day lows back to back in one sell-off. That's pretty. That's why I was like, oh damn, this is a pretty strong sell-off. Yeah. I want to look for the reversion, and I missed the reversion by a little bit, but that's perfectly fine. What's the next trade? 475, not a bad area. We're holding on to VWAP here on the SPYs again. Now that support, resistance turns support. Turn to resistance as of right now. So this is a practical example of if there's one indicator that again that I really like, it's going to be support and resistance and volume. Like I think those are probably my top indicators. And then I've started using VWAP a lot more as of recent. But again, with discretion, like it has to set up the right way. It has to do the right kind of things in and around VWAP or going into VWAP or previous days VWAP, whatever it is. Yeah. But yeah, those are the 3 things that I really like, and those are kind of core mechanics of supply demand are just support and resistance. Where are buyers, where are sellers, right? Yeah. So I think once we've kind of identified those ranges, taking trades off of that seems to be working well. Let's just say that. Yeah, no, it definitely takes a lot more than that. But range bound nonetheless, and support turning into resistance here at that 475 on SPY. So that'll be an interesting look going forward today. But nothing really too crazy happening here. We did revert the move a little bit. Let me take a quick look at Apple. Apple was one of the weaker names on the day today. Again, kind of started selling off before everything else sold off, and was pretty much, I guess you want to call it front running the market today. Everything else was holding its levels, but Apple just just slowly and steadily just selling off, breaking lows, and then finally that 10 a.m. candle comes in, and we quadunk and break that 193 level. Oof. That seems to be that again. It was a little bit of a level yesterday, and coming in today we break that level and break previous day's consolidation as well. But again, I got nothing too much on the board in terms of like ideas. I was talking about that Amazon short off of VWAP, but we're still consolidating in and around those levels. So no real setup for me right now. Again, last day. I think just hanging out. Yeah. Just, nothing too crazy. Talking about stocks, talking about charts, and being patient. I think is definitely key. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think I want to get into trade here. I'm here. I'd like to be trading, but I also don't want to force myself into a position either. Bonkzilla in the chat mentioning Moderna. I thought that was Mara for a second. I was like, how did Mara get to 100? Yeah, since the 2 minutes you looked at Mara, A got to 100 and B completely reversed to the upside. I got a little flutter there. I was like, whoa, what just happened? That's fair. I mean, like the R, like it's an easy one to, I guess, if you're just like glancing. Sure. I saw the M beginning with the M and then ending with the A, and I was like, oh. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. No, it's okay, and in the end, Q, like I fully understand. But yeah, no, so nice. Thank you, Bonkzilla, for bringing this one to our attention. I like the look of Moderna. We got it right at open. We flew up here to this 100
$1.20 area. Then we fell down kind of with the rest of the market, this nice stutter step to the downside. Then we had a recovery, and I would argue this recovery definitely a lot stronger than a lot of these other names, and a bit earlier too. We started recovering, I would say, around 11:45, this nice stutter step to the upside. We had this, we kind of flew off this 99.78 area to the downside, but we're coming back up. I would like to see us decisively break above this 99.8, perhaps a 99.9. I think that would be a good look for this one. Then, of course, if we can break above this 100 area, 130, I think that would be a very good look. Let's look at the daily. Yeah, I mean, Moderna's daily is, I feel like Moderna is so responsive to like catalyst. This one will move at the drop of a hat and with a viciousness. Like we had this move up, I believe this was on that Moderna Keytruda with Merck study. For that, I'm going to pull up this exact there here. But yeah, no, I know there was that study. I think it's probably around that December 14th area. Then we kind of continued to start a step to the upside, had a massive move down yesterday. But yeah, and I think what's interesting too is look where we rejected off of yesterday. It was this area that we had that earlier top where we fell off that 104. So 104 could be maybe an area of resistance longer term for Moderna. I would say that. I think that's kind of an interesting area, at least for myself, to keep an eye on, because we would fly down here. But yeah, I mean, Moderna definitely trying to make a bit of a recovery after a kind of a long, slow and steady move to the downside. I would like to see if we break this 104, and then I think the next area would be that 115, because we had a little bit of highs there before a movement to the downside. So thank you. Bonkzilla saying Moderna's up almost 5% on the week. Did not know that. Thank you so much for bringing this little stock to our attention. Let's see if it can bring an injection into the market. Weird vaccine pun there. But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I looking to find what else. I was looking at Mara as well. I should have gotten in on Netflix. I'm gonna pull up Netflix first. So Netflix, I was waiting, sitting pretty. I had an order out ready to buy at this 485.40 area, and my stop was gonna be this 485, right? Because that would be a lower low. Now I got out because I noticed we kind of kept careening further. Like we were getting close to that area. I had stepped my order and we were going lower. I was like freaking out. I decided to say no. And then we flew up from here. We were at like 486 now. So I mean, I think really good look on Netflix. I'm really sad I missed that one. I think that was my nerves, me kind of becoming a bit of a nervous trader, and then me deciding to step out of it. So I need to be a little bit more confident in my areas of execution. I think this is one area where the tape reading kind of, you know, tripped me up a little bit, but I think Netflix still looks strong on the day. We're seeing these higher highs now, higher lows. Also, Abel mentioning NVIDIA is at the level where we broke down this morning, so we'll take another look at NVDA here. Yeah, almost, I would say, yeah, no, you're right, actually. And what's interesting, too, about this level, thank you, Abel, for mentioning this level, is look where we're rejecting off of, this crazy area of consolidation in the pre-market. I do not mind this look at all. I think, yeah, NVIDIA really seems to be petrified of crossing 500, because it'll get kind of near there and it'll be like kind of scared. So I think this is an interesting look. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was reading the chat as well, and that's a ticker I have up on my screen as well. I'm like, oh boy, 500 coming right back in, and we haven't been able to break that 500 distinctly. But how do you create some buying pressure on the day to break through the 499.98 highs? Maybe, I don't know, tinfoil hat. But we're making a V-shaped recovery here, right back through the quadrunk that we had, definitely building back up into some of these prices. So potential morning shorts definitely getting a little sweaty on underneath that 500. Again, we're only about a few points away from that 496.70s, 497s ish printing right now. Again, yeah, right into that pre-market consolidation and yesterday's consolidation as well. You can see kind of a slow, grindy step up back into the 500. Strong sellers here on Wednesday, and they come back in today. I wonder. But yeah, it's like, oh, 10 o'clock. What happened? What happened? Why are we selling off so hard? I don't know. But I have no idea. But it seems like sellers are kind of right there at those same prices. That's what I'm trying to say here. And they got pretty aggressive on Wednesday, and we're seeing a little bit more of the same getting into the end of the week here, end of the year as well. But very, very strong reversion. And I'm like, yeah, maybe some playbook trades missed on my part for sure. I could have looked at pretty much any of the Mag 7 and been like, all right, let's revert this this move there. But obviously not like that. But some of the moves, the consolidation, waiting for that break to happen, and I was like, oh, this reminds me kind of the move we had last Wednesday, but that reversion doesn't come in until a few days later, right? But today, the reversion all coming in all at once. So a bit of a same kind of move, but different kind of magnitude in terms of with respect to time and I guess consolidation volume that went into the reversion as well. This reversion here took about a few days worth of volume to come back into that 500, whereas today you kind of slam into the 488s and then now you're ripping right back up into 496s. So probably. A little bit of an interesting kind of move there, strong reversion, and yeah, probably players offside as well if we're going to revert the whole move today. So people in the chat talking about that 500 potentially coming in. Yeah, if we held VWAP, we're pushing right back up. We're pretty much in or not in the opening range. There's a 15-minute opening range here on this chart. So the 15-minute opening range on Tesla is 497.30 is the low. You see that we consolidated there for over about an hour. There at 10:30, that's when the strong sell comes out, and we break that opening range there. But we're coming right back into that opening range. So I think that if we enter this opening range, it's on the way to that 500. So the probability of that 500 could step up a little bit if we push back up into this range. Again, building that buying pressure potentially needed to take us through that 500 with this kind of action that we're getting today. Strong flush, bought right back up.
I think it becomes a really interesting look. Oh, I got into some IWM here. So, I mean, I was going to kind of wait here. We just immediately got into this position. I do like the look of this, though, because we are seeing some really clear kind of range-ish movement. I like that we're having higher highs. I'll probably get out of this around this 201.80, 201.90 area, because that's where we're kind of seeing these higher highs. Yeah, it looks like hopefully these little small caps can make some big moves in this last kind of 5 minutes here. You know, because I felt weird I wasn't trading as much today just because I didn't want to force myself into a position, but I do like the look of this IWM. Yeah, so much is interesting. A lot of discussions here about what's going to happen on NVIDIA. I think no matter what's happened, it's going to happen on NVIDIA. I think it will be a very big moment. I think if we decisively break above that 500, though, that would quite obviously be a big move. Because I know we fell off of 500 off of those earnings. So that'll be an interesting look. Anything you're excited to trade heading into the afternoon back on the big desk with Sean?
Like I said, I'm going to stay a little patient there. Amazon around VWAP, I'm watching that. AMD missed trades. Again, these two kind of... not necessarily in play, but AMD definitely in play. Amazon not so much, but again, it's well within the volume gainers on the day. Maybe the second last one on the list, second to Apple today. But definitely, I like to look at this list a lot more as of recent because again, this is where the party's at, right? Yeah. These are the tickers on the exchanges that are doing some of the most volume, whether that be on the NASDAQ or the NYSE, right? These are all the names here, and yeah, taking a look at some of these, we talked about Tesla being at the top most days, right? And Tesla's right there, but on a day where Mara kind of takes over Tesla, it may just go to show that Mara may be in play, just maybe. You know, I'm just don't want to speculate too much, but just maybe. But no, definitely volume is very telling. Volume speaks volumes at times, but yeah, a lot of these tickers, again, very well traded, and I can see a lot of the names in the chat also reflecting some of these tickers. Where's Fisker? Is Fisker in here as well? I guess not.
I expected Fisker.
Yeah,
this morning
I would have expected Fisker. The thing is, it's like a sub $2 ticker. So yeah, no, why? That's curious. Let me just pull up Fisker here.
Curiouser.
Yeah, so it hasn't done too much, but that 184, I was looking at that 184, wrote that down on my sticky as earnings reaction high, where we kind of dumped off of on earnings day one. Was that earnings day one? Or the day before earnings, I guess. So earnings reaction high as well in and around that. Yeah, so that 181, 184 area right here, strong sellers, and then earnings sells off as well. We come right into that level today. But yeah, I guess not really doing any significant volume today. Let's see how much it's done. So here's it's doing significant volume.
Yeah.
Actually, what? Why is it not on this list? Am I missing it? That's weird. Okay, so I got to check this out. Maybe I'm getting the wrong information here. But the volume today here is 113 million. The average 30-day volume is 27. So
wow,
Fisker, it definitely deserves to be on that list there, as it is one of the top volume leaders on the day. I was curious. I was like, why is Fisker not on there? That should be on there with what it's been doing today. And I did take a look at the volume earlier on today.
Interesting look.
Decent move, but pretty much sideways here. Only about a 15 penny range. Sure, it's a $2 ticker. 15 pennies is quite significant on a $2 ticker, but 15 penny range nonetheless.
Yeah.
Here on Fisker. What
Yeah.
you got going on?
Yeah. Really quickly, we're almost done. I just want to quickly look at FLJ here for Noah. Asking about some FLJ levels. I think we're kind of around an interesting level here, this 183, because that was where we had this pre-market. I don't know if that was our pre-market high, but this is definitely one of the highest pre-market candles we had. Then after that, if we get there, if we don't reject off that, I think this 2-4 could be interesting. Again, not advice, just kind of what I am seeing here. And then, yeah, because I think it's hard, a little bit hard on the daily, because this one just kind of continues to fall to the downside to get kind of stronger, longer term levels. I think that this 3 would be a bit of a stretch, but I think in terms of intraday levels, I like that 240 area for sure. But it looks like we are winding down here. So are you excited for the new year? Excited for the last couple hours of trading?
Yeah, for sure. I think we're ending off the year pretty strong. We started the year off at lows. We're ending off the year near highs. I think it's been a pretty interesting year in terms of the price action we've gotten, and different kind of changes we've had over the year in the economy and stuff. And inflation seems to be lessening. It was funny. It was like it caught a part of the bid is what I'm trying to say. It's like inflation. Powell was like, inflationary pressures are kind of cooling off, and then the market just catches a steady bid day after day off of that reference there. But it's definitely been an interesting year. I hope you guys also had an interesting year. But if you want to close us off.
I guess we'll close this off. Yeah, thank you so much for being here, Obi, and doing a great job on the big desk as well. And it was lovely to be here with Obi and Sharif. But Sharif and I will be back in the new year on Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel. For now, Brendan's at the big desk.
Hey guys, welcome back in. Couple hours left in a Friday afternoon here. Couple hours left, let's be honest, in the 2023 trading year. This is the last day, the last 2 hours to go.